Welcome, everybody. Oh my God, what a day we have today. I'm so excited. I, of course, am your host, Aloe823, and I am joined by the lovely Viella to cast with me today. Viella, how you doing?
I am doing so well. I'm super excited. I was literally thinking about these best of threes all day, so I'm super excited to see, hoping that it's going to be 3 games. All right, this is what I'm hoping for. Prage.
You don't want you want a nice clean best of 3. Really, you don't want to go crazy here. We want a smooth games, clean games, because we have 2 really banging teams. But of course, first, we do have to talk about our amazing sponsor, Logitech. Now, Logitech's G, who is supplying each of the main roster members of the winning team a red Pro X Superlight 2 SE. The Pro X Superlight 2 SE is an iconic 60G pro gaming mouse designed with the world's top players and engineered to win. As well as the prize for the winning team, Logitech G is also giving a white Pro X TKL Rapid keyboard to the person with the highest pick'em score. Thank you, Logitech G. Next, we're going to take a look at the current prize pool distribution, which has actually gone up $100. It sits at $2,520. Big shout out to a resident observer for that. It's not updated on this screen, but let me tell you right now, that is a large amount of money. But more importantly, Viella, let's take a look at today's lineup. We're going to be watching Team Capybara versus Next Gen 2026. What do you think?
Oh, I've heard so much about these 2 teams, so the fact that one of these are no longer going to be in the top 3 is phenomenal. Like, there's such great players on both sides, so it's going to be really exciting to see who comes out on top to go into the next semifinals for the losers bracket here.
Yeah, so whoever wins this best of 3 will get into the final losers bracket, and then you have the chance to go into the grand finale. But let's take a look at some of these names here. And the 2 names that are standing out to me, and I hope are standing out to everyone, is Porin versus Halo. Now these 2 names, we had some contention in a bit Twitch chat. You know, this is a bit of a heated matchup. Those 2 maybe agreeing, disagreeing, conversations regarding ATAR scores have been brought up back and forth. And this is the proving ground. This match right here is the proving ground to see who, might have the edge, really. And then, of course, we have a bit of a fan favorite, the Super Asian. I love seeing the Super Asian, and he was allowed his Wukong just the other day, and he's shown bright like a diamond. Who are you looking for in particular in this match, Viella? Who's calling to you the most?
I'm actually really excited because earlier I spoke to Porin, and he was doing some great warm-up games. I won't say which Riot game he would actually end up playing, but still super excited to see what he has to bring to the Rift. But of course, you did already mention the Super Asian. I actually tuned into his streams a few times now. Great gameplay, really entertaining person as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, one of the greatest junglers we have on the server, and it's going to be a real test of strength going into Porin, rank 1, of course. And this will really be a bit of a trial by fire. I think it'll be a bit of a trial by fire. I think, Next Gen 2026 looking really strong. But Team Capybara, off the back of that win against such a dominant team with some of the savings, I mean, that alone is just such a testament of strength. This bot lane, of course, Clown and Muchi, I mean, they have been performing so well. I'm wondering if we might get maybe Clown's Varus or something. And then on the other side, Jaber and Kenvo, I mean, team captain here, they also just performing out of their minds. And we're going to keep a track of Kenvo's Rel. I think that is the couple champions to look out for. And there are a lot of champions to look out for in this best of 3 here. And we're going to be getting Fearless in this best of 3 as well. I think that's really important to understand as well. So what do you think? How is Fearless going to affect these drafts eventually? If we get into some of these later games.
Well, of course, as you guys know, if you did tune into Worlds this year, they implemented Fearless Draft. So as soon as a champion has been played in the first match, it will no longer be allowed to be played in the next 2. So all of these players that are well known for their specific champions, if those get banned, they won't be able to have an opportunity to play those consistently either. So even if somebody ends up doing particularly well in the first game, it doesn't need to be banned because it will already be banned based on the draft that we have set up. So that just means more chances of us to be able to see different types of champions throughout the split, throughout the games in general. And of course, that means more likelihood of potentially Teemo being played. Because I know if you guys have locked in your pick'ems, that was one of the options on there.
Oh, I'd be very happy to see a Teemo lock in. I mean, Willy Wonka
Yes.
Teemo, I think that could send shockwaves throughout the Rift, truly. I think, you know, this fearless sort of draft is going to really affect the Super Asians comp.
Yeah.
Because we know the Super Asian loves these 80 bruisers. And I believe Next Gen 2026, you know, after that showing, might be aware of just how crucial he is to these to the rest of his team. And so if they can just cut out a lot of these 80 bruisers, you get the J4 away from him, you get the Wukong away from him, you get the rest of these common sort of safety picks away from him. Yes, game one he might get one or two, he might get one, but then once it gets to game 2 or 3, he might be out of picks. And then you're really looking at a rough time, because against Porin, can play very aggressive, but he's a very adaptable player. He can really change that play style. You know, we take a look at maybe another jungler, Nox, for example.
Yeah.
Nox is such an aggressive, such a pressure-focused jungler.
Really.
And I mean, yeah, that Pantheon was it's sort of fingers around the throat of the enemy jungler is how Nox plays, or how I would like to describe it. He's like the Sydney Strangler, I would say.
The Sydney Strangler, what a name.
Porin can go multiple ways, really. Porin sits on both sides of the fence, and he is so good at adapting to different play styles. If he needs to play slow, if he needs to trade dragons, then easily he can understand the situation he's in, and he can change. And what the Super Asians is going to have to do is study that itself and really understand how good and how sort of aware Porin is in these matchups and in the game states, and match how he's changing as well. Because you can't just play one signature style, especially in best of threes, because these players will adapt, they'll learn. And that's the thing. Yeah, it might be a stomp in the first game, but you can just learn. That's how they work. That's how best of threes work, really.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I'm really excited to see, because every single game that we've seen throughout the entire tournament, it's never been like a full stomp. There's always like a chance for the other team to get back ahead, get that lead, and secure the win. And I feel like that is a true testament to how OCE is as a region, as we've all experienced in our own solo queue games. So never count them out, guys. So when you're thinking maybe this is it, it's all over, you're wrong. Somebody's going to be able to take an amazing play and push through and try to win the game for them entirely. Obviously, it is a what, best of 3 tonight, correct? Yeah, best of three.
Best of 3.
So guys, do not count anybody out. As soon as you see that it could be Grim, there is always another 2 games that could be following as well. And of course, we always keep a track on your pick'ems too. So we will be deciding on an MVP for each game. And I hear that we may actually be doing interviews tonight from the team captains. Is that true?
Yes, and something I'm very, very excited for. We will be able to hear from both sides of the story. You know, the winners write history. Well, we're going to know on both sides what happens. We'll speak with the losers and we'll speak with the winners. We'll get a full breakdown, rundown of the games, see the decision making in action, and see how they feel after a game. I mean, this is such a big game. This is such high stakes. Think of how much money is on the line here. $2,500.
Money and prizes. Exactly.
And of course, big shout out to Logitech G. Let's take a look right now at that beautiful mouse. Look at that mouse. I mean, I'd kill for that mouse. I would go to Everest for that mouse. And what do these players have to do? They just have to defeat the Super Asian or defeat Porin. I mean, they can do that. They can handle that. And they're going to have to see if that's available to them, because, I mean, these are just such high stakes. They really are. And, you know, you mentioned the comeback effect. You know, like no game is lost. Every game is winnable. And I truly believe that. And we saw that in Variety Bucket's game with Fido. That game looked such a wash. It looked like a sort of the coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. But that coughing baby grew long legs. He grew long arms. And that was Fido bringing the game back from the
What a visual
brink.
You're painting for me right now, Hello.
Yeah, well, he took out the Elder. He stole the Elder, and then a huge Nara. And yes, And yes, maybe they didn't continue that trajectory insanely so, but they brought that game back, and I think that game really symbolizes no game is lost. No game is lost. And in these best of threes, I think we're going to witness that tonight. I really do. Because another thing we've seen throughout this tournament is mentality. And keeping good mental is so important. Not getting A, over cocky, and not getting B, over sort of, I guess the word I would use is almost scared, because we saw this in the bot lane. We saw, teams being up summoner spells and not using and attempting to use their advantage. And so I think mental and keeping a clear head is something that these team captains are going to have to balance for their team. I'm personally wondering, and I'll ask this in these interviews. I can't wait to talk to these guys, because I'm wondering if they've been trained, if they've said, like, okay, we might lose that first game, but stay strong, steal your heart and steal your mind, and keep going. Because didn't we see that in Worlds? Isn't that the T1 classic? T1 always loses. 100%. They get to the finale, they'll always lose that. Maybe they win the first game, but then they lose like 2, and then they sweep. And I think we'll see which team is T1 here.
Oh yeah, definitely. And of course, like it's never, you can't ever actually count them out as well, because the bounties too, like as soon as you collect those bounties, it is just going to be an absolute game changer for those. And we've seen the types of fights that happen around these objectives, the Baron fights, Artican especially. Like, I'm telling you, those 2 objectives are like huge fights that always keep happening throughout this tournament as well. And I'm super excited to see what each team is going to bring to the table, essentially. The stakes are high. Okay, we spoke about the mouse, we spoke about the prize pool in general, so it's great.
Stake wave, it truly, they are very high. And something that I am so sad to see go is this Artican for the next year. Something I truly, I mean, some people don't like it. It's it's truly divisive. Some people like it, some people don't.
I'm telling you.
Me and Mercury discussed this over many hours about how it can be a bait objective or not. Yep. While I don't know if I'm in complete agreement with him still, I still think it's such a game-changing objective. It certainly does warp the game, and we'll be seeing today. Because what do you think about these matchups in terms of who controls these games? Now, I think when you have someone like Porin, who is very dominant and who can be very, very sort of, he can be independent, but he can be fiercely team-based. I think his whole team is going to be playing through jungle, and this game will be a jungle game. But I actually don't think it will be for the other side. I think the Super Asian will do his signature full clears. He's not really going to go for that early ganking style, and so we'll see that team sort of come into their own in other lanes. But what lanes do you think where this game is going to be played the most, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. I know that when we talk about the team captains, we always like to focus on the team captains laning, and for this one as well, like you've been talking about the Super Asian versing up against Porin, who is the team captain. And then of course for Team Capybara, it's Halo, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So both captains in two different lanings. So I want to see what the captains are, especially because the team captains are the higher ranked players. Essentially, that's how it's been working for the entirety of tour. That's what we'd be able to do here. So being able to work around the strongest member of your team is obviously going to be like the play, essentially. But we've seen how well these junglers aim to actually go through their lead. So they're able to, like, especially when the games where the captain is actually in the bot lane, like with Praedyth. So they made sure. So Praedyth, they made sure to play around him, and they're able to like funnel through him in order to like push through that lead and get that overall win. Especially, do you remember when he was playing on the Yunara? That was an insane game, by the way. That was a
crazy game.
Apparently the strongest Yunara anyone's ever seen in OCE, because usually Yunara does like minimal damage, but that is the difference between having a well-experienced player and a champion versus somebody not so much. So it's really interesting to see what they're going to be able to do for the team captains, and of course with Porin being the team captain on one side and then the Super Asian being the other. Sorry,
that's my bad. Halo is the team captain for Team Capybara, and Henvo is the team captain for
that's
Next Gen.
Yeah, so being able to see like how they're going to be pathing, but like as you guys know, if the jungler is going to be pathing the top side and going upwards, and we have to be watching what the other side is going to be doing. So we want to be able to see something happening on one side of the map all the way to the other, because we cannot just keep focusing on, do I need to farm, do I need to do this, and focusing on objectives, because you want to be able to get your laners ahead, and that's how it works in these team games. That's the difference between team games versus solo queue, because you can rely on your other teammates and you've got that communication going. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing with the Super Asian, who I'm so focused on here, is that solo queue cannot be the deciding factor, and I really hope he was getting some practice in today. I really hope he understands that solo queue isn't the deciding factor in terms of you can't just full clear. Some of these games, Porin might adapt, and you have to adapt with him. You adapt or you die, and the super full clear might have to adapt, as we are looking like we're getting into the first draft.
Oh, draft's ready? All right, let's do this. Okay, so we do have like our signature picks. What are we hoping to see? Because you were talking about the Super Asian and his 80 bruises in the jungle. So what are we hoping to see from bans wise?
Well,
essentially?
I'm wondering if there will be a bit of disrespect. I'm wondering if there will be a bit of disrespect, because we already can see. Look at this. We've got the Azir ban for Halo. Now we've seen Halo's Azir, really strong, really like just powerful in team fights, putting out so much damage even when behind. And while we did, I will say this, I love Halo, I love his Azir. We did see a couple little slip ups, a couple missed Shurima shuffles, a couple missed dashes and stuff like that, but doesn't look like they want to even risk that today. Next Gen 2026 just banning that out. That's their first ban, and that's what they consider the most terrifying, at least on the team side of Team Capybara. Halo, he's going to be, I mean, if he's the threat, As you said, we want to look at these team captains and they understand that he's the threat, and take a look. Another Syndra ban. That's straight for Halo there.
Yeah, exactly. What do you feel? How do you feel about the Gwen ban, however? Because we know how broken Gwen can be, especially for you being in the top lane. You understand, like, even if you end up to get that lead, it affects everybody else in the team as well. So what do you think about this?
I think Gwen's a really good ban. We actually have seen such, like, just game warping ability using that hallowed mist, that W. It just completely changes the game and the playstyle. And every champion that you pick after Gwen, like if you're countering Gwen, every champion you pick has to counter that champion. It's not like, when you see a Nasus, for example, let's say a Nasus lock in, you just think, okay, I need a couple of good team fighting champions, a couple of good CC champions, but that's it. But Gwen, you need close range. You need to be able, any long range is going to have to be, you have to understand that might be useless in these coming team fights. And Gwen, this late game sort of hyper carry, you're going to have to watch out, and you're going to have to build your comp around it. As there it is, no disrespect on the side of Next Gen 2026. The Wukong taken out of the game for the Super Asian, as we will get our first lock-ins. An Mbessa Kiana band, just angling for Porin here, making sure Porin has no potential. We saw Porin on that Mbessa, and it is a threat to behold. It truly is. It's not something you want to give him up freely, and I like this. They're very respectful on both sides here, but you can be as respectful as you want. He's just been given Jin Zhao, and Jin Zhao has seen such a dominance throughout this tournament. I mean, it's rare. We saw Nox twist and turn the tides, and honestly, I think this champion is perfect in the hands of Porin, and I think he knows the full potential of this champion. We're going to see that in this game, and so the mind immediately goes to, what can the Super Asian play into something like this, as we get the Varus.
Ooh, especially because a champion like Xin Zhao wants to go for that disengage and try to separate everybody. Like, I'm interested to see how they're going to try to get that lockdown as well, because Xin Zhao can be an absolute menace. Like, you feel like you can get away from him, but of course he's just going to use his abilities to jump right back onto you. So I'm really hoping they're going to have something to prevent that overall engage. However, I'm a little bit interested to see that it is now a Varus and Nico, because we've seen Nico being played in support role, I think it was last time.
Yeah. And I think Muchi might be, well, I'm pretty confident Muchi will be back on the Nico support. And I actually love these two picks. These two picks are directly going against. That's obviously going to be, I truly believe that'll be an on-hit Varus. And then the Nico is...
You love talking about Varus and his builds. Like, I've noticed
I'm obsessed with them. I'm obsessed
with
him. Because you can't, going on lethality Varus, once again, that arc and can completely, the Jin Zhao arc can just completely invalidate the Varus chains of corruption and any of those blighting arrows. And so you need, if the Jin Zhao can get on you, you need to be able to kite away, you need to be able to still hit him, and that on-hit build is needed. And then you get this Nico pick, which I actually love here. It's sort of like, because Nico is decently close range, it's sort of like a sleeper counter. Like, let's say Jin Zhao engages, you can just R, because the R is centered around you. You can pop Blossom because everything is centered around the Nico. Her long range abilities won't really be counted. That's in the situation that Jin Zhao is on you.
No, I understand where you're coming from there. Yeah. But, we were talking about the lockdown from those two particular champions, but a Sivir has actually been locked in. How do you feel that actually like determines the bot lane in general, though?
I mean, Sivir is like it's such a strong pick, and it's such a independent pick. And when you already have, I mean, if we take a look at these 3 picks on the side of Capybara, that spell shield is so useful into them. The flag and drag from the Super Asian on that J4 pick, the Chains of Corruption, anything Nico wants to do is now completely just out of the game. And we can see the side of Next Gen 2026 building up this sort of invulnerability build, you know? Okay, I can't hit the Xin Zhao. He's altered. At least let me go for the Sivir. She's got a spell shield.
Yeah.
And I can imagine Stella, who we've seen really perform well. Interestingly enough, we're getting the Orianna. I was proved wrong. I was very gladly proved wrong with Stella's Akali. And honestly, I was proved so wrong that now I have full faith in Akali whenever it's picked.
Yep.
But I'm thinking we'll definitely get a less damaging build from Orianna here. We will be getting that Roa Seraphs because already Next Gen 2026 is looking for either an engage, burst all the abilities on the enemy team build without them having any use of it and then just cleaning up, or they could even be looking for a sort of back to front type build with this Severe just layering out so much damage after you've dodged this initial engage. And we can sort of see Team Capybara taking out the Ornn there. They want to remove any potential of long range engages. That's what Next Gen 2026 is missing right now. They're missing that easy engage besides everything is centered around this Xin Zhao Orianna combo. And while it is a very strong combo, when you don't have that Call of the Forge God, it can be difficult to set up if vision control is kept perfectly.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like with the side of Team Capybara as well, they are going full engage from what I'm seeing here. So it's interesting to see what they're going to be able to do if they're not actually going to be able to get that lead, especially early. Because going all in in these fights, especially against the team that they've already set up for the side of Next Gen 2026, it's going to be a little bit hard to come out on top, especially with the Sivir and the overall disengage coming from Orianna and the Xin Zhao being picked too. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to be able to pick. And I see that Ziggs is being locked in.
Yeah, Ziggs a bit of a strange pick. Once again, we've seen this sort of counter pick into a team comp such as this.
I think it's just range, essentially.
The aim is, you ignore the fact that Xin Zhao can block abilities. You ignore the fact that we've got that shielding and the spell shield, and you just do more damage through it. You just stay at such long range. We're going to hope that they never go full heavy engages, and we can just poke them out, get them out of this game, and they're going to have to burst or use their abilities to even want to stay in these extended team fights. But may I just say, there's a lot of disrespect for Willy Wonka right now. There is a lot of disrespect for Willy Wonka. You've banned out Halo, you've banned out Super Asian, but you're only giving 2 bans for Willy Wonka, who has such a good pool. And he's going to make full use of this Cassante pick just locked in right now.
Oh my god, it's Cassante into this team. I actually really like this, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is pretty good, especially because we were worried about what they're going to be able to achieve in these overall team fights for Team Capybara versus what Next Gen actually has on offer here. But at Cassante, I feel it really does add a lot to them.
Yeah, it's certainly adding that Warden pick, and Cassante in particular just has so much utility in terms of if he wants to sort of, get an unstoppable engage there, or potentially just sit on, we could just sit on Halo here, we could just peel anything that comes from him, sit on Clown, peel anything that goes away, because if we take a look, we were talking about that long range engage with the Ornn, and now we're getting the discount version of that. So now they have the Gragas, right? And while it's not as pinpointed, it's not as accurate as the Call of the Forge God, a good barrel toss can completely split up a team that needs coordination, such as Team Capybara. One little thing that I'm thinking in terms of whose team I prefer, I really do think a lot of things need to go right for Next Gen. A lot of things, when you only have the front line of this J4 and Gragas, you're so reliant on that Orianna ult follow-up. That Shockwave follow-up is so important for your team. Because if, yes, we have that Karma Severe, yes, we have that in the backline, but everything revolves around getting onto Clown and Halo, because that damage output is so high. Ziggs, Varus there, and you have so much peel of your own. I mean, we've seen some good little buffers from, you know, I mean, Why Not's J4 was a beautiful sight to behold. The buffers and everything, and we can see how it can be used for peel. And the same thing when you have a Cassante. For Porin, I think in particular, this game's going to be very difficult, really difficult, because who can you actually go on? Who can, let's say he's by himself, and this is a prime situation, but who can he engage on and take down if he's not fed, if he's not incredibly far ahead? Because look at the reaction. Look at the reaction of everyone. You either get Cassante ulted, you get flag and dragged away. You can get the not the bouncing bomb, but the mine. Ziggs can just mine himself, jump away. Change the corruption from the Varus. And then, of course, the Nico ult as reactionary. Everything is really good in terms of reactions for Team Capybara, that it's making it really hard for Porin to play and engage.
Well, that being said, however, like there is a lot of mobility on the side of Next Gen 2026. Look at it, we've got the Sivir ultimate as well, Karma Mantra too, and of course Orianna with the dissonance as well. So there's a lot of catch potential for them. So even if it feels as though they're not going to be able to get take anybody down in the first instance, they're definitely going to be able to burn some abilities and burn some summon spells, which is exactly what we want.
Absolutely. I do think one good it's sort of Zayla's game here. One good barrel toss changes everything, and it's such a you know, wild sort of ability that can just completely switch and change everything. As we get into game one, we'll see if things get changed. We'll see if this barrel toss can change everything, because this is going to be a really good game in the first best of 3.
Yep, and I'm super excited to see how they're going to be starting out as well. We've seen a lot of the times where junglers try to get vision early to figure out how the pathing is going to be and how they're going to be able to react to that. And it's always the side that has the vision first. They're able to get a lot of poke damage down, and they have to back out, which is exactly what we're seeing now.
Yeah, we saw that in the bot lane in a couple of these games, where there's a bit of just disrespect of that bot bush, and that bot bush is getting prio in that bot bush, especially for a sort of surviving lane, a lane that needs to survive, such as Severe Karma, especially into, you know, we got, and I think I was pretty wrong. This is actually a lethality Varus. He's got the Arcane Comet here.
That's the Varus
I can never get
you
it
don't
right.
like, isn't it?
I'm so it is. And but maybe we'll be, I think we'll be better here, certainly, as you actually get access to that Serpent's Fang, which is not too bad into the likes of Karma. I don't think Clan will be building it, but me personally, I would. But yeah, this bot lane is getting this bot prio bush is really important, but both teams seem to have ignored it, at least for now, choosing to sit around mid lane instead.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so you were talking about jungle pathing and overall what we want to be looking for here. So where do you feel like action is going to be happening first?
Yeah, I mean, we have sort of what's it called, vertical clears here from both junglers. I think something that could really throw a game off is a cheese gank. I really do think that could decide, make or break the game. If the Super Asian can get a lucky kill, especially in a lane such as Willy Wonka's and Zayla's here, one kill will decide that whole lane, which will probably decide that whole game. But I just got to say, are we looking at the domination in this mid lane from Halo here? Look at the damage on this Ziggs.
I love and hate how much range Ziggs has, especially against something like an Orianna. Like, you feel you as a control mage, you want to be able to dominate the lane, but something like a Ziggs, and of course with his passive on his auto attacks as well, it's just so annoying. And you can see that here. I feel that Stella is getting a little bit frustrated, and he's just like, guys, you're gonna need a gank. Any second out would be great.
The problem is, though, that Orianna, until she hits that 6, until she hits that shockwave, her gank potential is decently limited. You only have that slow, and your main thing is every time you come up to hit that slow or poke, you will be taking a Ziggs bomb for your troubles. And while Ziggs, with that mine, pretty well defended, especially from the likes of a Xin Zhao gank. That in particular is certainly going to affect this game. The top lane matchup, I mean, Gragas is, of course, referred to the Great Neutralizer. Everyone knows the Great Neutralizer. We can see Willy Wonka here. There's actually no mana on the side of Zelia, who's going to eat the Intopo Strike knockup. A flash is going to be forced out of him there, as that is going to be a nice little lead for Willy Wonka.
That is going to be a little bit a little bit of a dire situation to be in the top lane as well. As you know, being a top laner, not having that summoner spell available for you, especially not knowing exactly where the jungler is at this point in time, it's definitely going to be, you need to be able to play safe and try to get back on your feet essentially. But luckily TP has been burned, so we'll see what that means for the next gen.
Well, a thing as well is the Gragas Cassante matchup is a bit of a strange one, to be honest. Gragas is usually a touch favored, I'd say, in terms of great neutralizer. It's not like he can win lane, but he can very easily survive lane, and it all revolves around this use of this phase rush. As we do get a Nico root landing onto Kenvo here, Clown putting out a lot of damage with that Arcane Comet. Not allowing for this extended trade to work well. The flash from Kenvo as Jaber follows up, and look at the damage. That lethal tempo fully stacked. Clown forced to barrier. Mewtwo getting low as well. Bouncing
amazing. And
boomerang.
this is insane, because we were talking about how much aggression can be on either side in the bot lane here. And of course, with the Sivir and Karma, like, they are just going to be absolute menaces. But of course, as soon as Clown or Mewtwo are able to land any of their CC there, we may be able to turn the tides. But I feel like overall...
Ooh, a flash in from Halo here. Satchel charge forced to flash. So aggressive.
Especially with the amount of pressure that Halo was putting onto Stella at this point in time, not being able to have a flash available for the next engage is going to be stressful for Stella.
Certainly will be. I love the aggression coming in from Halo here as Willy Wonka hits 6. The perfect dive potential. This is the Cassante dream, but he needs to drag him out of this tower first. Xaylia knows this, and Willy Wonka wants it. Here comes the W. Unstoppable just missing. You've lived this time, Xaylia. You have no TP, and your wave is in a terrible way.
It's good that they're able to continuously apply that amount of pressure onto Xaylia as well. We already know that the flash is down, the TP is down, so it's better to just play around what they already have ahead here. We're seeing the Super Asian
no flash on this Orianna. Here. The Super Asian is hovering, and we do have, of course, Poran hovering bot side. The Super Asian here for the counter gank. Looks like he's pretty aware. A ping goes out as they start this dragon incredibly early. It's a 6-minute dragon. And Poran's here to fight it. We do have the long range of this Varus, but we're having a couple little skirmishes around this tri-bush as they still are committing so heavily. 2,500 health on this dragon here. Neither team wants to give it, but we have first movement from Halo. The flag and drag missing as the Super Asian is forced to flash, but the Super Mega Death Bomb hits, and Poran finds himself falling. Flash up. The shockwave hitting 3 from Orianna, but there's no damage yet. You have chasing down Kenvo. Flag and drag connects along with the arrow.
Done. That was insane. We could see the amount of pressure that's being around for this objective as well. So much range as well. So it's good to see that the teams were both trying to connect and try to get that overall pressure for this objective here. But of course, it goes over to Team Capybara.
Yeah, I mean, that first movement from Halo, I mean, that was so... He was in that team fight, he had his level 6, and that Super Inferno Bomb just did so much damage. Poran didn't even flash. Poran didn't even try to flash. He just sort of accepted his own death there. And not only are you losing First Blood, but you're losing the Dragon and your 3 kills. You're well on the way to feats of strength. And as you said in the draft, movement, you know, the ability to move around the map and micro in these team fights is going to be so important as Poran tries for the chickens. Bit of a Nox angle, but the Cataclysm is coming out. Finally, you're forced to flash, but the Super Asian is still wanting a little bit more. Movement from the Orianna stopping that. But take a look, Nucci is here, and there is no vision.
Both supports have already made their way into the objective side, because this is what we want. We want to be able to get
We'll take a look at the vision, although the Super Asian has been seen here. Poran, is he going to ego it? We do know that Muchi is sniffing around nearby, but a beautiful sidestep on the route there, but a block, a buffer in the flag and drag. It was a beautiful callback there as they take it down. The Super Asian.
Yeah, that's going to be the Void Grubs for the side of next gen. So despite them not being able to get that first dragon and that first blood, but again, this is what we were talking about. A lot of back and forth that's going to be happening throughout these games, and this is exactly what we're seeing now. And Void Grubs definitely being something that you want to be able to prioritize more, because I've noticed in games, I'm pretty sure you've experienced it too, they want to be able to prioritize Void Grubs more than the first dragon.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of trades go out there, and whether that is the play, at least in this, it's so dependent on team comp. And I actually think this is not ever, in terms of next gen 2026, while these grubs are useful, it really does, it gets such a buff if there are split pushes on the team, if you do have access to a Fiora or Yorick. As we take a look at this team fight, watch this little pull up there.
That
the
flag
Jin
and
Jiao knockup
drags.
hitting him mid-air. I mean, beautiful play from Porin. It was, I gotta say, we gotta keep this mental, and while you did get a lead early, Team Capybara, we can't be playing that aggressive. We're straight trying to invade Porin in his own jungle, and we knew that the support was up there. We had vision on Kenvo's roam. Just disrespect on both sides currently.
But there wasn't enough players on the side of Team Capybara either, and the fact that they were trying to get some sort of pressure there, definitely not the right move, especially because of how much was used in the fight prior. But yes, exactly what you were saying earlier about being able to prioritize the right objectives for the team position here. Not so much of a split pushing champions that you guys want as well, because we were talking about how these champions work together as a team.
Seemingly there was a solo in the bot lane. The corpse of Zalia sitting sadly under this tower. Willy Wonka only half health at the time as well.
Yeah, I think the thing to note here is that Zayla's flash has been burnt here. So that's going to be something that we need to be able to wait out within the next 5 minutes as well. No objectives are currently on the map, so we're just going to be seeing how much they're going to be able to pressure each other. Lane swaps have already been put down, you saw them, and now they're going to be switching back, as it looks like both of our bot laners are going to be returning back to their lanes.
With that gold advantage from the kill as the Super Mega Death Bomb, can Halo land this last Q? A little sidestep from Stella stops that all in, but it's a huge chunk of damage, and Ziggs is left alone with this tower. Can just rinse it. I want to point out, by the way, take a look at Willy Wonka item, the Canik Rookern. This Gragas is going to do no damage to Wonka, as he can just, every 15 seconds, he can just repair that shield. And these trades just aren't worth it. This trades are just not going to be worth it for him.
The funny thing... Oh, sorry, go.
No, please.
I was just going to say, the funny thing is, I feel like the whole time that we've been watching in the top lane, Willy Wonka has been on the side of Zayla's lane for the majority of the time. I think like 80% of the time we've looked up there, he is just in Zayla's face. So it's just interesting to see we're panning up there, and Willy Wonka's at his tower already. So it's just...
Yeah, it's sort of it's an aura check for Wonka here, if you think about it, because Porin could come up at any time. Porin could really look to focus down this top lane, but he's not risking it. He's just saying, listen, Willy Wonka's gonna do his stuff. We're just gonna let him do it. Just try not to get soloed too much. I feel is the main advice.
Yeah, and I feel like you feel that you know that feeling. You've been in the top lane. You're like, okay, I'm ahead. What should I not do? Ego. That's fine. So you're just gonna keep making sure you're doing the right thing, micromanaging as much as you possibly can, and just keeping that lead so that you can be able to push that through to the mid to late game.
Clown is a man after my own heart. The first item, Serpent's Fang. I said it as well. Once you go Lethality, Varus, you do have access to that Serpent's Fang, and it can completely invalidate Karma Shielding. I love this. This is the perfect first item. It's going to just remove this support practically from the game, because as there was a counter solo.
What were we talking about just a few moments ago? Can you refresh my memory on what we needed to not
looks like we're getting a 1-for-1. It's really unfortunate on the side of Willy Wonka here, who had that gold advantage, who had that item advantage specifically, and losing to a Lucidity Brutes tier double amp tome Gragas, not what you want. Very much not what you want, because if you're giving just even that little bit of lead to a Gragas, when he is actually so important for your team comp, that barrel toss. I mean, we've got to keep him behind. We've got to keep him behind constantly. As looks like the second dragon. Look at these early drakes from the Super Asian. He came into this game with a game plan in mind. He wanted these objectives so early, and he's focusing them down. And look where Porin is. Top side. He cannot contest at all.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about before. If something is happening on one side of the map, we need to make sure we're taking something. So he's going to be taking the chickens. That being said, however, I feel like the dragon is definitely something they should have looked into, but there was no vision. There wasn't any pressure for that side. So it was smart of them to actually just try to take some chickens away. And I'm pretty sure from what we saw from that fight with Variety Bucket, taking away chickens, incredibly important, might I add.
Oh, it's very strong. And I love this build. As we get another look at that barrel toss, a little bit not very useful here, just being used to clear the wave. Willy Wonka's going to take a decent amount of turret aggro here, but once again, just one grass proc is practically rivals the full combo of this rocket belt. Gragas on the side of Cassante here. I mean, that champion certainly is something.
Oh, yeah,
And I really want to see more from this bot lane now. Now that you
yeah.
have, like, if we look at Sums, we've got all Sums up in the bot lane. We have this Serpent's Fang. While it isn't
cheeky
as
bit of a
useful,
roam, though, from Halo.
Ooh. He wants to look, and without this barrel toss, a really good use of phase rush, knowing that
the
having that bush warded.
execute from that W, honest, the satchel and being able to take down that tower, it's obvious that was going to be happening. You've got a Ziggs, you've got the pressure, may as well take that free gold turret play. Just before turret plating fell as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be feats of strength going over to the side of Team Capybara as the Super Asian finds himself a little bit caught here, already using his flag and drag, taking off his health, but nothing more. This blue buff is wanted, though. You can see it in his eyes. Clown moving up. We're going to definitely get a bit of a team fight here. The engage ult from Porin here. He's going to find himself falling. You can see the Nico updraft, and there's the Super Inferno Bomb doing so much damage. Halo doesn't even need to be in the team fight to do damage. Jaber forced to defensively ult and run away. The hunt is on, but it's under my own tower as a terrible invade goes out from Next Gen.
Interesting invade from them as well, especially because we've noticed there's a little bit of dominance from the Super Asian being able to get that objective and be able to get his team members and vision around that too. So even though the rest of Next Gen was about, let's actually break it down here. Let's go on. So Porin actually goes in for the engage, thinking he's able to get something out of it. But of course, the rotation from the rest of Team Capybara is where their dreams are about to end. There's no vision on there, but they are aware that someone's going to be in there, and they go for a re-engage, and that is where everything falls apart. The beautiful ultimates coming from everyone, and of course, Halo being able to get that huge ult on them too. So much damage, so much AoE, to be able to get them ahead and get them all of their buffs back, essentially. And
yeah, I can't really understand on the side of Next Gen the wants
Aura,
of that invade, because yeah, I mean, besides Aura, it's just risky.
Really.
Like, yes, okay, you want to contest this blue buff, but we have full movement, and they had vision on that bot lane. They had Prio moving into the jungle and collapsing there, and I think Porin, this first item Titanic, he's not as tanky as something like a first item Sundered Sky would be. So yes, he has a little bit extra damage and clear, but it wasn't enough to clean out the Super Asian. And once again, we could just get Team Capybara collapsing. The access to that Super Death Bomb, the Inferno Bomb, just means that you can't take trades without expecting at least a little bit of extra Ziggs damage here, as a dive wants to be looked through. Look at the Serpent's Fang. There's no point to E as the counter engage, a flash from Porin. The Orianna ult missing as well. Here comes the Warden. It's Willy Wonka TPing in, doing so much damage. Both flash fuse. Jaber forced to flash as well and does get away, but we get a counter TP from the Gragas here. Kenbo and Zayla desperately running. There's the flag and drag flashed away as well. All summoners down from both teams as the dive doesn't go exactly to plan for Next Gen.
No, but they are able to survive, but there seems to be a potential dive
No way,
on the
you're
side
looking
of
for a
Team
counter
Capybara.
dive. That's the Intopo strike. A slight miss on the flag and drag. There's no knock-up. Do you want to greed for this dive a little bit deeper? Personally, I don't think so, but it's a really good counter dive. You blew both TPs and both top laners came down. But Willy Wonka getting there a little bit earlier just stopped any sort of chance of Porin getting a kill in his tracks. And Porin's tempo is once again ruined by these very greedy, very aggressive plays.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're going for these. Look at how aggressive they are. So they're making sure to be able to take down all that wave, and as soon as the TP comes in, that is when they probably should have considered backing away. But the engage goes through regardless. Even though they were able to get that kill over onto Stella there, look at the rest of them being able to scatter as well. It's just so unfortunate of what they were trying to achieve and what actually ended up happening. Because I'm pretty sure they ended up taking some of their jungler as well, so there was just more gold being taken from Porin.
Yeah, and it's also just a bit of miscommunication. We saw that the Orianna had placed the ball, had placed the orb onto Porin there, but Porin chose not to engage, and that Orianna ult, the shockwave hit nobody. Yeah. So seemingly, maybe someone called for an all-in when there actually wasn't. The others didn't, Porin evidently didn't want to go all in just yet, wanted to maybe wait an ability. Yeah. As we get a little bit of a follow-up into the topside jungle here. The slow onto Muchi, forced to flash away, Chains of Corruption, and look at how much the Serpent's Fang is doing. Karma is just not able to shield the teammates here as we take out almost half health on most of the members of Team Next Gen here.
You can tell that Next Gen 2026 are trying to make these plays, but Team Capybara is always one, heck, even 2 steps ahead, might I add. But again, they already like burned so much in that previous attempt of a tower dive, so it's interesting they're still trying to keep that pressure onto Team Capybara here. I'm really hoping this aggression actually like works out for them in one of these fights, because that's what we were talking about here. Look at how much gold that they have already, but they want to be able to get some more pressure for them, especially around these objectives. Already two of those dragons on the side of Team Capybara. Really interested to see on how if Porin actually starts changing the way that he's playing this game so far.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, this sort of this 5k gold lead is gonna spell the demise, because how do you ever recapture? And like the answer is, and what we've seen is, we have to play aggressive. We need to make a desperation play.
Yeah.
But as we talked about, with so many abilities able to dodge these engages from next gen, with almost every single champion being able to just stop next gen in their tracks, you can't recapture. You cannot recapture this gold lead. And look, we're losing third Drake as well. And what are we getting in return? A little bit of vision control in that top jungle. Chicken's already gone.
That's gold still. Okay, I think that's the first time where we've actually seen the Super Asian take an objective and Porin actually getting some gold. Other than the chickens that we saw the first time he took Dragon, but you can just see that Porin is trying to get gold from literally anywhere now. As soon as we see the Super Asian on the map, you can see that Porin's trying to make something happen on the opposite side. As we do see them gathering around in the top. All this Atacon.
Yeah, I mean, this Atacon this is a perfect point to recapture this gold lead. This is the one. So many teams have faltered. So many teams have misunderstood just how much shred this objective has. Yeah. So if Team Capybara overcommits, if Team Capybara, puts a little bit too many eggs in the Atacon basket, it could spell a quick turnaround for next gen.
Okay.
But you have to be aware of that. I mean, I would be so surprised if Halo wasn't completely aware of that and not wanting to make any crazy plays. And we don't need to. I mean, we have Ziggspo. We can just sit right back. But take a look at the sort of counter flank from Xaylia. You need to use that barrel toss, my friend. And yes, you've got the phase rush. Get the Inferno bomb. Halo is a sniper. Landed that perfectly. Oh, what are you going to try and do? 4-man on Willy Wonka? That's how he likes it. He's so tanky. There's nothing you can do. And now, Next Gen is on the run. We've got full access to a Rift Herald at the same time. We can just go straight up to this Atacon if so be. We've got the Ziggs wave clear. It's just a perfect storm. Where is the communication? Why is the Gragas attempting to flank there? As we get finally the satchel charge into the Nico ult. A beautiful storm. Kenbo just sitting around this Ziggs here. He does have no satchel charge. You're either going to be forced to flash or just completely blow up that Karma. Can you get the bouncing bomb on Jaber as well? Yes, you don't even need it. You got the auto. That's a double kill over to Halo.
Hello, I'd like to report an absolute murder. What did I just see? They just exploded.
Flash engage from Willy Wonka. The counter flash from Stella is flashed by Halo himself. So many flashes going out. They will find the 1,000 gold onto that Ziggs, but that's also Atacon going over to Team Capybara. Still that 5k gold lead, and that fight looks so good for Team Capybara as Willy Wonka wants more. The all-in going on to Stella, and that's just 2-item Cassante doing an obscene amount of true damage. Good luck.
Oh my gosh, this is exactly what we were talking about, the Cassante pick and being an absolute menace. Look at him with all this pressure. Like, has his health even been affected? Give me a second.
Barely. I mean, this Kanik Rookern is so strong. The Kanik Rookern's shield hasn't even been up, and he's not taking any damage. And we saw, I mean, he was literally sitting on 4 members of Team Next Gen, not taking any damage and not even needing to use any of his insane abilities. He was just sort of walking around. It was an E shield now and again, and that was about it. And he's just going to keep getting tankier. And the thing is, look at Porin's build. A bum Titanic Hydra. Okay, engage onto Clown, but look who's here. Bucci is here. There's nothing that this team comp can do to Super Asian. Cataclysm going out onto Jaber here. Porin looking for Clown, but even with that barrel toss, it's not enough. Willy Wonka's in the fight now, and a it's just a complete stomp. You're caught between two towers, and take a look at the arrow, landing perfectly.
Oh
Next Gen's
my
comp
gosh.
completely useless into the likes of Team Capybara.
And again, this is what we were talking about earlier. Like it's always the start of Porin trying to make a play in the jungle. He was going for that blue buff, and he clearly did not anticipate the rest of Team Capybara coming in to save the day. Look at this engage, and he gets absolutely caught out from the engage from every single member of the team. Look at that, Jaber being caught in that cataclysm, and the fight has been split and not in the direction they want it to go either. There was absolutely no way for them to escape. They just won the fight on their own side of it, on the opposite side of the map as well. So being able to escape, it was just going to end up going on the side of Team Capybara regardless. And it is just an amazing first game, really.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about, we said in the drafts, the only really angles that Next Gen have for them is that Gragas barrel toss and is the Xin Zhao engage. But the Xin Zhao is so behind. The Xin Zhao does not do any damage, and yes, he's got that knock up, but that's about it. And without following up with the Orianna engage as well, your team comp falls apart. And I think there's real miscommunications with Xaylia here, because the barrel tossers are not really performing in the way they want to perform, as Willy Wonka has found himself into the back line and looks like he's going to kidnap Porin straight through the wall. A jungler for me, I'm a hungry boy, says Willy Wonka. Let's get this dragon for free.
Willy Wonka reclaims one of his Oompa Loompas as he takes him to his side of the map. And it is going to be another dragon for the side of Team Capybaras. That is crazy. They get the mountain soul, and that is definitely not the soul you want to be able to give to somebody like Cassandra as well. It is huge. Where is their Serpent's Fang? What's going on here?
Yeah, and I wanted to point out in that last fight something that, once again, after my own heart, we actually saw that Serpent's Fang eat an entire empowered Karma E. That mantra shielding was completely destroyed by Clown Serpent's Fang, and I'd love to see at the end of the game just how much anti-shield it has done, because as well with this Orianna, you would be racking up a couple. You got the Seraphs on her as well.
Yeah.
I think that was such a good pit. It seemed to be a reactionary ult in the mid lane from the Nico there, Michi, but nothing comes of it, and that is Baron going over to Team Capybara. The gold lead, 10K.
That is insanity. You were glazing. Sorry, let me take that back. You were hyping up the Super Asians at the beginning of this game, and I can see why. But then again, is it really the Super Asian being able to absolutely destroy Porin, or is it Porin just making these continuous mistakes and underestimating Team Capybara as a whole?
I think this is a level of underestimation. I think it's a little bit of too much overconfidence with these invades just spelling the doom. Like, why did we need to contest that early dragon? We knew that Halo had the prio. It's a Ziggs into Orianna. We knew that bot lane didn't have the prio, and they had just hit 6. And in terms of who has more damage early, the Super Inferno Bomb is way more useful than the Shockwave, even though the Shockwave hit 3. It just didn't have any damage, and there was no follow-up with that CC. As this Baron Siege with the Ziggs, it's the perfect storm, really. And what can you do? Look at Willy Wonka. He can just 1v5. And now half the team is half health because of that Inferno Bomb, and no one can damage Wonka. No one. He's eating every single ability, and it just doesn't matter. This Cassandra so tanky. We don't even really need to go for another wave. We do have the Super Asian pushing in this top wave. They're going to take another inhib for their troubles. And it's looking grimmer and grimmer for Next Gen in this first game.
But on the opposite side, obviously, it's looking incredibly great for Team Capybara. They've got literally the Great Wall of China for them to be able to, like, literally zone the entirety of Next Gen 2026.
This Cassandra pick is frankly absurd. He can just dive under 2 Nexus turrets. He's not even half. All 5 members hitting on him there. As now, look at this flank from him. He's almost in the fountain. You have to dodge so much. Ziggs bomb, Chains of Corruption going out. We got him in! We got him in! But even that, he survives a long enough time to take down 1 Nexus turret. If you wanted a time to engage, now would be it. But what can you do? All your team's on half health. Every Ziggs Q is landing. Porin on a quarter health now. The 3-man Cataclysm. Flash ult from Nico. Porin last alive, overconfident, over dead. The Nexus going down in the way of Team Capybara, who is taking out the first game, the best of 3. Wowzers.
Oh my gosh, what a first game to start the night. Hello, you were literally talking about the Super Asian the entire time, and that is literally where all the action was. Of course, we can't count out the fact that we had Willy Wonka being able to stomp all over Zalo through that entire laning phase, apparently,
Yeah.
and it was just a steamroll with these jungle fights over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Once again, I think it was a game of disrespect. Okay, we banned out Halo's Azir. Sure, you got that. You got Halo's Syndra. But are we really forgetting the menace of the top lane? You're going to leave him the Cassante? You're not going to get rid of the Cassante? And I just think it was decided pretty early on in draft. We really saw that in a couple team fights that Next Gen just had no easy angles. The only angles was that barrel toss and was that Jin Zhao engage. And with Jin Zhao so far behind, every engage, you just were on the back foot. And it never worked out. It really, even from that dive, the Orianna ult missing, the miscommunication there. We're going to need, hopefully that game is a real shock, a testament of, okay, we got to lock in now. Because I think in both drafting and communication, Next Gen had some small hiccups there, certainly.
Yeah, there was a lot of potential on the side of Next Gen, as we were discussing before the game even started, but of course, a lot of disrespect and underestimation happening time and time again. Hopefully, the team are able to understand and pick up their mistakes, and as we go into the next game, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I just think we're gonna need both teams to understand that was the first game, and anything can still happen. And I truly believe both teams believe that. But stay tuned, because we're gonna go to a small break, and we will be back for the second game, this best of 3 series. And we are back. I mean, what a first game. That was truly a really great showing from Team Capybara there. I really, what were your takeaways of that game, Yella?
Takeaways? Clearly, how do I say it without sounding like, overconfidence and underestimation, I guess, would be like the key takeaways from that one as well. And of course, like being able to push that lead consistently, because I think there wasn't necessarily a time where it looked grim for Team Capybara, was it?
Yeah, no, I mean, from that first little invade on the blue buff, I mean, they sort of just took away the game. There was never really a turning point for next gen. There was never a point where it was like, oh, okay, they're getting a lot of gold back. It pretty much was always a 2k gold lead. And in terms of that, also an objective lead. I mean, there was no real, like, there was that first dragon contestation, and then they never really tried again. So they just got that soul, that sweeping soul, so efficiently. Really, I just think that was a really good showing. And once again, I mean, I think there were a lot of communication issues. I think there were some drafting issues. I think there was a lot to learn from that game for both sides. And I'm really interested to see if this drafting is going to change. And the most important thing now, of course, is the Fearless. Now we have Fearless come into play. None of these picks can be picked again. Something that I'm happy with is we won't be seeing Orianna again. I mean, I really like Orianna, I do, but we've seen it so much throughout this tournament. It's like Mel. I'm just a bit sick of it. Personally. It's such a strong pick.
Honestly, more Yoriks is what Halo's saying, guys. More Yoriks.
Yeah, please. I mean, I would love to see Willy Wonka Yorick. It is sad we have to say goodbye to Willy Wonka Cassante. I mean, witnessing that is like witnessing,
in the chat,
Haley's Comet come round. It's a sight everyone should step outside their houses for and bring the popcorn as well. So I'm wondering what picks are going to be now, and more importantly, I'm wondering what bans are going to be. We saw that focus on Halo there. We saw the focus on Porin. And I think in terms of whose bans were a little bit more potent, I think Capybara's bans really worked. Getting Porin on that Jin Zhao meant that, they sort of, I wonder if they gave next gen a little bit of overconfidence in terms of that's our only really engage. We're confident in Porin, and Porin's an amazing player, but everything relies on the Jin Zhao. And it, it didn't go in the way of next gen, and because that Jin Zhao fell so far behind, they only really had 2 opportunities for this Orianna Shockwave into Jin Zhao engage combo, and it just didn't have the damage. It just didn't have the damage to take out anyone. We saw it work onto Clown, but there was no real follow up. So I think communications over draft. I think that's something we've seen a lot in this tournament, is drafting plays such a serious role, and I think teams are still underestimating just how important it is, because I think that game is a perfect example of Team Next Gen were just so they just didn't have the tools to deal with Team Capybara, and even with the tools that they had, they need to use all those tools just to get one member, just to get that Ziggs after the Satrachaz use, just to get Cloud. Honestly, just to get Kenvo, it was Muchi, I should say. Sorry. It was a bit of a showing in terms of too many fires.
Yeah,
for
too many
Capybara.
fires.
There were so many fires burning, and you only had one extinguisher.
Yeah, no, but it was like Team Capybara didn't necessarily have to engage on anything, because like they just were there. Like they were just like, you know what, we are ready. You guys want to be fed, and we are an all-you-can-eat buffet, and we're walking right towards you in your jungle. You don't even have to leave the house. We are here, and they were able to take advantage of that. And this is exactly what you need to be wary of when you're trying to go for these plays. Like, do I have the vision? Do I have the pressure? Do I have the team to be able to execute the play that I want to go for? And it seems as though, like you were saying, a bit of miscommunication overall, because there were dives that were being done, and it just looked like it wasn't being able to like be executed the way that they wanted to. Things were being done late, things were being done too early, and then being able to push for those as well. They just didn't really have that overall synergy compared to Team Capybara, who again, like, ATAR diff to what people would be saying essentially. But like I'm honestly so excited for game 2. Like we're doing fearless draft now, so I'm eager to see what they want to be able to take away, because obviously once you lose a game against a particular champion, you don't have to deal with it again, but that just means there's more that you need to consider, and this is where things get spicy.
Yeah, and I think honestly on the side of Team Capybara, I think this was considered. I think that Ziggs pick from Halo, you know, he's so proficient on so many mid picks, but the Ziggs pick in particular is a pick that getting a win on it early is really good. First of all, it just means it's completely out of the competition, at least for these best of threes here. And I think it's a pick that, yes, Halo is good at, but Halo has a lot of better picks. And I think now the fact that he's won a game on it means he can resort to these better picks, and Next Gen is going to have to keep banning him out in terms of his Azir, which we see right now. And Porin's Kiana on the other side. These bans are going to be very important, and I'm wondering if we're going to get any Willy Wonka centric bans. He had such a good laning phase and such a domination that I would be very in favor of banning him out if I was on Next Gen 2026.
Well, it's also good that they were able to leave that pick to the last round as well, so that way they were able to like really round out their entire composition for their team, especially with what they started with. They locked in the early Nico Varus, and we were like, ooh, they're really going for that aggression there, especially against the first pick on the opposing side of the Xin Zhao, and it was just a little bit of a anti-synergy almost, like as a response, but having that Cassante at the end really doing wonders for them.
Absolutely. And here's a little bit more respect. We're getting one of Willy Wonka's picks. We're getting the Scion completely out of the way. We've seen so much Scion in this tournament. And I really do think, I think it is such a powerful pick. Once again, just the ability to soak so much damage and so much pressure. It does effectively a very similar job as the Cassante with a little bit less agency. But certainly a pick that you're going to want to take away from someone who can get ahead on him with Willy Wonka. As we do get the Super Asian Wukong ban. Once again, I don't think he'll be playing it, at least in this run through. As a full triple jungle ban for Team Capybara into Porin here, as we get the Ashe lock in.
Hold on a second. Prioritizing an Ashe. Now, is there something that I'm missing here? Like, why would we want to prioritize an ADC pick first?
I think in terms of Team Capybara, with this first win under their belts, they're less so prioritizing Ashe and more so just throwing it out there. It's a pick that can rely on the back foot. It can say, you know, they did get Dove a decent amount bot lane, and they're saying, okay, you know, let's say you get this Ashe behind, be our guest. The main job of Clown is going to be these enchanted arrows, you know? And now you don't have the Xin Zhao to play against it. If Clown is hitting these shots, that's all that matters. And I really like it. And now you just have so much access to counterpick, because look at that. The lock-in of Victor from Stella here gives Halo perfect time to counterpick. The Syndra isn't banned. Syndra's open, although that matchup isn't the easiest. As we get a Renekton pick on the side of Zelia here.
It's interesting to see that even though we've already gotten the opening of an ADC on the side of Team Capybara, there is no prioritization in being able to like round out the team, like we were talking about last round, where Team Capybara saved the Cassante pick in order to round it all out. So it's interesting to see that it's almost as though they have an idea of what type of play style they want to be able to implement in this game by picking something like a Victor and Renekton early.
Yeah, certainly. I think Next Gen has this is one of their maybe more prepared drafts, and we'll see how it plays into effect. We get the Rumble from Willy Wonka. Now, we've seen Willy Wonka's Rumble before. It is so good. And we're seeing a Seraphine as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yuchi on the Seraphine Ashe, a very strong combo. And
incredibly oppressive lane, especially because in the last game we saw that Next Gen 2026, they went for the poke. They went Civic Karma. Like, how much more annoying can you be? Apparently, you can be more annoying, but this time Team Capybara is going to be showing them how to actually dominate the lane. And with that much CC, because once you be able to get that slow on for Seraphine, like Clown's just going to be able to get that hit off and stun them. Sorry, other way around. They'll be able to get that stun off as well. So it's crazy to see that this is what they're going to have to go against, because there's so much AoE from that Muchi Seraphine ult, and it's going to be disastrous for them.
Yeah, and I've just got to say,
their answer is a Nami. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm confused on the Nami. I'm a little bit confused on the Nami as a Smolder ban goes out onto Clown here, which that's a strange ban actually. I'm sorry, I said Clown here. Yeah, that's only honestly going to be a Smolder mid, but it's see, I don't understand it at all because it's very unlikely that they would have. Victor's a very good matchup into Smolder mid, so I don't believe that Halo would have even been considering the Smolder ban here. So I'm something to ask for the end of game interviews.
Yeah,
sure.
game. We'll ask them later on after these 3 matches.
Because I personally, I'm not too confident in divulging as to why that might be the player, why that was picked, as we do get the a Jace ban. Yes. All right. I do understand the Jace ban here because you've got a decent amount of AP already on the side of Team Capybara. I do really like Capybara's comp. Immediately, I love it. It's a very long-range comp. You have so much range to play with. You can stop, you can slow, you can damage.
And the zoning.
If we can just round it out. Yeah, you've got zoning. We just need to round it out a little bit, and it's going to be very strong. But if next gen can pick up an ADC that might be able to rival this bot lane. I mean, Nami can certainly with paired with the right ADC, the right amount of mobility, can certainly rival a bot lane such as Ashe Seraphine. As we get the Galio lock in, a Galio lock in. Now that is
where's the Galio going?
Where is that Galio going? Now that's a strange Galio. It could be maybe a Galio jungle. I'm slightly confused personally. We'll have to find out. That's certainly a strange pick as we get the Trundle. Now I love seeing a Trundle, the Super Asian Trundle. As that is Halo Tristana mid. We talked about that 80 mid laner. They needed that 80 mid laner.
Oh my gosh.
We might be seeing a Victor bot. Could be the angle.
Yeah, an APC.
It's going to be Stella. Oh yes, APC. Yes, of course. That would work well, at least in terms of as to get the Nefiri lock in. Wow. I mean, team comps over the board here. I've got to say, Team Capybara's team comp holds a little bit more in terms of cohesive late game team fights. With that Trundle pillar, we can just follow up. We can just sort of immediately knock someone down and just follow up with that Seraphine, Enchanted Arrow, Equalizer ult, and then you also have Halo's damage, which is going to be so strong throughout this game. In terms of next gen's comp, it's a little bit less cohesive. I'm actually, I hate to say I'm unaware of the Victor Nami synergy. Now, I know Victor Nami brand is a really strong one because each of the Nami bubbles buffs proc on the brand burn. I believe that to be the same for Victor. So I do believe there's a little bit of synergy there. And then you've got this Galio mid, but countered well with Tristana. Tristana, that it doesn't matter about the Galio Shield of Duran. That shielding is going to be completely useless because this Tristana is just going to dump a bomb straight on you. Now, the Nefiri is a really, really fun pick. That's going to be a Nefiri jungle. Corrin's Nefiri jungle. And is going to be a bit of an equalizer in terms of if Porin can get ahead on this Nefiri, you do have so many squishy targets that you're here to assassinate. I would like to see maybe a more Eclipse style build instead of that usual, I don't really want to see a Spear of Shojin first. I want to see something that can get through this Ashe, something that can get through the Seraphine, and something that can also get through this Tristana, because I think Halo is going to be a bit of a menace, certainly.
Yeah, especially because we had that prioritization of what was it? I forget what it's called already. The item that Barris built.
The Serpent's Fang.
So yeah, we're seeing how much that made a difference in their overall laying phase. And it was just phenomenal that it was prioritized. Huge damage going on to Porin. It's almost as if he didn't go through enough the last game, but here he is being bullied once again. But I feel like the last game he definitely brought it upon himself. But I digress.
Something that I want to point out, which is incredibly bold from Jaber here, the Victor pick, no cleanse. You've got 3 TPs on the side of next gen, but there's just having access to the Enchanted Arrow. If one of these lands on your Victor, he's just going to be blown up. I mean, we've got the follow-up, the Tristana jump. You've got the Equalizer. And honestly, Enchanted Arrow Equalizer, Victor's not an incredibly, I imagine he's going to go something like a Blackfire. He's not going to really, he's not going the tier yet, so he's not got the Seraph shielding. They have so much long-range damage they can just lose to Poke if they don't get this Neferi online. This game revolves around this Neferi for next gen here.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate as well because they have so much. They had so much frontline already because they prioritized that Renekton. So it's interesting they didn't decide to go for that range because of how much setup they would be able to have on that as well. Because having that being an ADC, of course, like you want to be able to have a frontline to be able to do as much damage from afar, and that's exactly what Team Capybara has been able to utilize here. They've got an Ashe and a Seraphine on top of that, and with the addition of Halo on the Tristana too, like there's just so much aggression coming from them, but of course so much escape and disengage, which is great in terms of like overall team comp.
Yeah. I think another lane we should be watching out for is this Rumble Renekton lane. It can be kind of tough if played well by Zelia here. It can be very tough for the Rumble, but with correct tethering, which we know Willy Wonka has full access to, I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of action in that top lane. But once again, I do really think the game revolves around Porin. The game revolves around Porin getting ahead, because if he gets ahead, he's going to be unstoppable. He can dodge these crucial abilities. He might even go an assassin like Edge of Night or something, and then you are absolutely screwed shutting him down.
Yes, especially because from what he was doing last game, trying to be that over-aggressive, essentially, and it essentially being his downfall. It's good to see that so far he's doing what he did last game, just pathing vertically, like we were saying before as well. Interesting to see that this time round they're actually pathing towards the top, which is what you were touching on before. Like Willy Wonka was an absolute menace to Zayla last game, so hopefully they're going to try to get him a little bit more air to breathe, because we saw how much Willy Wonka was a pest to the rest of the team on next gen.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't. What can you do? It's very, very difficult to gank this bot. You really can't gank this bot lane because your follow-up is a Victor who really needs a little bit more time to come online, a lot more time to come online. And getting into a Seraphine Ashe is very difficult for a champion that does just run at you. And while Neferi is going to be good for that, it's still rough. Your follow-up is limited, especially with a Nami. So both teams do want to get to late game as look at Stella's health here, having to use desperately begging for Kenvo's Nami healing. Really going to need that as we see the power of this Tristana into pick like Galio, the anti-mage, but I'm a Yordle, not a mage.
Exactly, and that's why it's interesting. Just like last game, Halo is dominating in the mid lane in terms of...
Ooh, the jump over the Dragon Wall, but the Super Asian is here to the Super counter. The Nami bubble flashed by the Super Asian, and the flash comes through from Porin, but once again, a greedy invade, and Kenvo forced to flash as well. Look at this damage.
So many
we have
flashes.
A flash E from Muchi, and that's 2 kills picked up for the side of Team Capybara again. And once again, it's looking like a repeat of last game. What are we doing making this play so early? The Super Asian is absolutely here to counter. And you've already flashed. You can't get away. And the kill going over to him is just going to keep skyrocketing this Trundle's lead. A beautiful follow-up from the other members of Team Capybara as well.
It's interesting to see that we saw last game that was the same mistake that Porin made before, and for him to do it again in the next game on a different champion isn't saying much about learning from your mistakes here. We do see a little bit of engage coming in the top lane.
Flash out from Zelia. Willy Wonka forced to flash as well, but it's going to get very low. We do have a bit of a boots difference, and I believe Willy Wonka might just be able to walk out here. He has to dodge the wings here, and it was a brilliant dodge, but you have to dodge back into that crocodile's jaw.
I'm not really sure what was happening in the top lane for it to the scuffle to end up being in that position over there. But again, not really something you want to see at a Team Capybara. But that's okay because they were able to get first blood and a lot more gold down in the bot lane as well. So hopefully Porin continues what he was doing the last game in order to get Team Capybara ahead, and they can just wait for those opportunities to arise once again.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a rough lane for Willy Wonka. That's sort of to be expected. And I think he's completely fine with that. I think he's accepting of the fact that once he gets to late game, his job is this equalizer bot. His job is just doing huge amounts of zoning and combining with the Trundle Pillar. It's going to be so effective. As Porin's tempo... He finds himself on equal footing in terms of CS with the Super Asian, but now you've certainly got to be looking at where should I go ganking? Where should I gank? You know, my camps might be down. The objective's coming up. We've already seen the Super Asian take a lot of dragons, and we're pretty confident he's going to go for another one.
Yeah, but again, like it's not a matter of like where should I go, but where can he actually go? Because there was a lot of pressure that we noticed that as soon as Parn went into his particular side of the jungle, it didn't matter. Like the rest of Team Capybara was there to welcome him into their zone. So even now, Parn's pathing down to the bot side, and the Super Asian is already here.
Yeah, and I mean, a good little pillar, but a good dodge from Porin there. But the Scuttle's going to go out, and honestly, they do have access to this dragon as well. If they so wanted to, they're going to play safe. They're not going to get greedy. They're not going to overextend. They're going to take the Scuttle, and the Super Asian is going to go back to clearing.
Yep. So it's not so much of a. It's good to see that they've actually been able to take a step back and go, all right, we need to just focus on what we can achieve here and what we can see, and they're able to take a step back and just stay on their side of the map. They don't want to give away anything too early because, again, what is at stake here, Hallow, if they do end up making all those mistakes that we've just discussed?
I mean, this is the most important game. This is unironically the most important game. If they're out of this best of 3, they will find themselves out of this tournament. And I mean, it's certainly, after that first game, we're really going to need Team Next Gen to lock in here and properly understand the stakes. I think maybe they're getting a little bit overconfident, or in fact, just underestimating Team Capybara here, and when there are such high stakes on the line. I want those mice. They want those mice.
That's exactly what I was going to be saying too. And just like, oh my gosh. So this is interesting. So we've seen that last time that Porin wasn't able to get a single dragon, and the Super Asian is going to be able to give this dragon for them early here, because there's so much pressure coming from Halo, but they're just gonna have to. Oh, they haven't finished it off.
They have Muchi here. Here comes the Galio. The dodge on the Nami bubble is good, but Stella has no mana. Is gonna have to flash, but that little pillar is enough for Clown to flash over and collect the kill, potentially a little bit of health given from that Nami, and now Halo has resets.
Down.
1 bomb, that's 2 autos. It's not gonna be enough to take down Porin yet, but there's so many forced to flash away. They have access to this dragon now. And just Super Asian, still not gonna greed. He's got the front foot. He can go for more clears, and that's what he needs to do. It's a beautifully played macro game from the Super Asian, who might even go for grubs now. Porin doesn't have the health, he doesn't have the items to contest something like this.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting as well because I feel like, I'm not entirely sure there, but did Next Gen actually have vision on the side of Team Capybara? Because they started that dragon, and it looked as though because they were able to have that Scuttle Crab vision as well, they definitely needed to be able to back out just a little bit there, but not prioritizing it as well. It's just a little bit something that they need to take heed to, essentially. Like they were on it. They needed to either commit or understand like what is at stake here. And of course, the consequences of this, both objectives being taken by the side of Team Capybara now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really well played from the Super Asian, because instead of allowing for a trade of grubs for Dragon by sacking Dragon there, or by just not doing Dragon right now, they have full access to go down there and do it and take both objectives, which is exactly what they want. Because look how much prio is in these lanes as Willy Wonka looks for an all-in. That Ash Arrow Clown 3-second stun. And this is what we were saying. It doesn't matter what happens with this Ash. I mean, yes, Clown is ahead, but his job is just hitting these arrows, and he's 1 for 1 currently. He's 1 for 1, and I imagine that number's going to keep skyrocketing.
Yeah, and it's definitely easy for them to be able to get that, but engage... Oh, just a little bit of a trade happening in the mid lane. But just like last game, Willy Wonka was being such a pest to Zayla in the top lane, so it's a lot easier for Clown to be able to land these crystallized enchanted arrows, because we already know he's just going to be sitting right next to the tower.
Yeah. Baron sits mid lane, but it's very hard to gank this Halo here, because you can buffer, if played well, you can just buffer the jump. And with the only CC, you know, it's not... Nefiri isn't a CC jungler. You don't have any forms of CC in your kit, so you're so reliant on this Galio, but without vision on the jungler, Halo is not falling. Halo is not sleeping on the job, you know. We saw him aware there. He's not going to make any plays stepping over the line.
Yeah.
And both teams, I should say both teams, Team Capybara is just going to keep their lead. They're not looking to make any risky plays. But speaking of risky plays, Porin wanting to recapture something. And yes, once again, starting this dragon. But look, all members of Team Capybara are here. And yes, you've got that Eclipse, but it's still a slow Drake. You've just used both of your Hound's daggers on that Drake as well. We've got movement, and it's going to be a river fight. Still on this dragon for Porin as we get a Hound's
in.
Pursuit, a triple charm from the Seraphine. The engage from Galio is going to take down Clown there, and the Nami bubble landing onto Halo, but Halo's in here now, jumping in, and has a very large amount of damage. That BF sword is going to allow for resets, potentially the Nami on a sliver of health. Does get out and steps into the Victor stun. It's a complete turnaround, even with the triple stun from the Seraphine. The fight going in the favor of next gen 2026.
Oh my gosh, this is exactly what we were talking about. Just because first game being taken by one team does not mean you can count them out for game number 2. And the fight continues up in the top lane.
Flash. Looking bad for Willy Wonka here. And it is going to be a trade, 1-for-1.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, attempt number 2. Porin goes for this dragon. But this time, he's actually using his his red trinket to be able to get that away. Because I feel like last time he didn't actually clear out the board that was on that dragon. This should essentially be a free objective for them, considering the Super Asian is on the opposing side of the map.
Yeah, and we got a little bit of insight into how Next Gen wants to play this game. And instead of giving all these early Drakes, they're desperately hanging on to each and every one, which I really like. I mean, this is that adaptation we were talking about with Porin. Take a look at this team fight. I mean, this is frankly absurd. A beautiful Seraphine ult combined with that Galio. Porin goes down, but the Nami Victor is putting out enough damage to cause it not to go too well. It's really unlucky that... Oh, as we get a little bit of a team fight, the Equalizer going down on a Kenbo, but Willy Wonka's finding himself just 1v3 in mid. Little bit too overconfident there, Willy, as he'll find himself falling.
Interesting. So this is looking like a different team from the first game. Like, Porin actually being able to get these engagers off and being able to get something out of it too. So we've been able to get the dragon. We're winning these fights that they're taking, but that is going to be the first turret down for the side of Team Capybara. And onto Halo as well. That's not something you want on a Tristana.
No, certainly. Tristana has the access to get onto this game. And another arrow hits from Clown. It's going to be an easy two-piece for the Super Asian. He is the super thankful because that's a double kill.
And that is a huge upset for Stella. He thought he was getting away. And let's have a look at that one again. The arrow gets sent down on his way to the bot.
Incoming. It's gonna land. Do not auto that trundle, Renekton.
And there it is.
You're gonna take every tower shot. That's a 3-second stun. A nasty arrow from Clown there, as we also saw Muchi get soloed or get killed in the bot lane. As looks like Porin slaying Clown as well. The Super Asian is here, flashing another flash of the Nami bubble, dodging the Hound's dagger as well. The healing is a lot for the Super Asian. He cannot leave the King's Domain though, as he's just going to run away. Porin wants a little bit of a chase here, and using that invulnerability, he doesn't know Muchi is in this bush. Here comes a double stun. Are you going to greed? You're not. You're going to go for the Super Asian. The shielding is a lot, but it's not enough. Porin might be able to clean up a double kill here if both of these Hound's daggers land. There's the first one, and there's the second one.
Porin! He is getting
Willy Wonka is here. You might have taken down 2 of my mates, but I won't give. I won't give. That bubble lands though, and the Equalizer goes completely wild. Porin's over the wall, and while Clown does slay Kenbo there, Porin is out with a successful 2-piece.
Let's go over these fights. It's just fight after fight. So Clown going in against Jaber gets taken down. And then we get the follow-up fight as well from the rest of the team. Look at this. So Clown starts chasing over Kenbo, but unfortunately he did not anticipate Porin coming down to finish him off. And then the Super Asian being able to counter gank essentially is just insane. And there's more happening.
Oh my god. This is frankly absurd. I mean, it's a little different from that sort of last game. We got like bumps of sort of combat. We got bumps of little bits of engage and a little bit of action, but it was genuinely kind of peaceful. But now it's just constant fighting back and forth, and it's very equal. While we do have a 3K gold lead on Team Capybara, Next Gen, Porin is staying in the game, and as we said, these desperation plays seem to be working out a little bit better now. He did get that first dragon, and he does have this gold lead, and he is the angle on winning this game. He's so proficient on this champion, and if he gets a little bit more gold, he's going to be able to one-shot like we just saw.
Yes, definitely. And we do see like the goal difference that's happening between these two teams at the moment here. Like we're seeing that a lot of these gold that's going onto the side of Halo is just because he's able to get those towers, and especially with the turret plating as well, and he's being able to collect that gold for himself. A lot of
coming up, and here comes the tidal wave from Nami. Willy Wonka once again caught out by so many members of Team Next Gen.
Porin is now unstoppable. Like, who had that on their bingo card compared to what was happening in the first game? He's clearly learned his lesson here, taking the fights that he knows that he's been able to win. The confidence is definitely showing here, and for good reason at that as well. I love how Next Gen is taking these team fights and prioritizing these objectives on their side as well. Not so much of a complete stop either, and they're taking their time with it too.
Jaber finds himself going to be slowed a little bit. Here's the Seraphine ult. The Encore causing that stun. And Halo is in the backline. Oh. Galio's probably not ulting where he wants to be. We have the Super Asian just sort of 1v1ing Xaylia, but the rest of the team of Next Gen 2026 is here. We have Halo's damage, a very large amount, as both teams are going to have to just give this river, neither one wanting to walk into that bush.
What a nice follow-up as well.
Jump in, here comes the jump in, but misses, does not stop. And we get the flash engage from Xaylia, so much damage. The Seraphine shielding doing so much and allowing Halo to live. Renekton, not enough damage yet. As we still, this fight continues. Willy Wonka's back in it. Please do not get killed again, Wonka. Forced to flash out. Double TP's going down, but there's no backup. Halo's here, a beautiful buffer of the jump. Jaber's here as well now. All members of the team are in this river. Halo doesn't have a jump anymore. Doesn't even have R to get away, and he's going to find himself falling to the Hound's pursuit.
What a long fight, and it was just engage after engage after engage, and even after Halo left, he TP's back in, and the overconfidence is now on his side. He gets in there, jumps away, and now that jump is on cooldown. He's not able to escape because he burnt his flash just a few moments before, and now Porin, he's the one that is dominating for these dragons, and another mountain dragon is up for grabs for this game. A mountain soul. This is gonna be so exciting. I can't wait. So many summoners were burned in that fight
absurd.
as well.
I mean, these fights are just so extended. It's really crazy. In terms of damage, Capybara is online, but Porin is just sort of clawing so much out, so much value out of his champion with these fights. I mean, this Eclipse shielding, just soaking so much, and just being able to land both of these daggers, bringing any of these sort of squishy champions down to such low amount of health. I mean, we also have to take a look at Wonka here. I mean, Willy Wonka finding himself caught out a lot, not using this equalizer, in its most optimal form. Yeah. And is certainly letting down the majority of these team fights, hoping for a bit of a revival here, certainly.
Yeah, because the equalizer provides so much zoning potential, especially in a fight with no vision as well. But it's interesting to see that it's not actually going in their favor thus far. But again, anything is possible with this type of game as well. We do see some aggression again from Porin, who's actually surprised by this anyway. Let's see what they decide to do here. We've got the vision on them. Do they want to go for it?
This could be a greedy invade, his signature move. But the thing is, in terms of Team Capybara, the worst case scenario has occurred. We said it in the draft. If this Nefiri gets fed, it could spell disaster for your team. And I mean, I hate to say it, Code Red, the Nefiri is fed. The Nefiri is very big.
No, hello, I can't, you can't say that because there is such thing called the Caster's Curse, and I do not want to be a 2-game slam. I want there to be 3 games, especially with how dominating Team Capybara was, and how well Next Gen is doing this time round as well on his champ that he feels incredibly proficient on, and we're seeing that again and again. But I want to be able to see it go into 3 games because there's so much potential for these 2 teams, and there's so much at stake here.
There really is, and I also think as well, we're gonna see a lot of action right now because this Atakan spawning bot lane is absolutely terrible for Next Gen 2026. They have so much access and so much zoning that if they ever do want to fight this Atakan, it is in the hands of Team Capybara to mess up. It's not in the hands of Next Gen to capitalize. It's just for Team Capybara to mess up here. And if they start it, I think that would be a big mistake. The Galio follow-up combined with that invulnerability. But if you can catch out Porin, that's your game plan. We have to keep our eyes on Clown here. The engage of this arrow. And here comes the CC chain. But Porin the arrow lands onto Kenvo. But there's no follow-up. All cooldowns are used now. You don't have anything else. And Galio forced to flash in. Shield of the Rain is going to do so much. Clown, yes, you've got damage, but you need to kite. You're taking so much. You're landing a triple stun, but it's still not enough. There's key abilities, and if they are used in that team fight like they were, it goes over to next gen.
Oh, I absolutely love it. You can see Porin being on this champion, you can tell what his limits are. He goes in for it knowing that the Seraphine ultimate is available, and he's able to dodge it too.
They stayed in the bushes, you greedy rats!
Halo,
what are you doing, Halo? Jumping straight into a bubble bath. What?
And he is being contained with that bubble again. Kenvo being aware of this particular engage, that is not once but twice now that Halo has gone in so confidently. We can see here Porin going in for that engage, and you think everything is all done, but he's able to get that invulnerability off and then go for the re-engage, and it is phenomenal how they're able to take everything back here. And the Arakan doing so much damage on the backline as well. There is nothing that the side of Team Capybara can do. They've got the CC, but they don't have anything else on their side to be able to combat this. And Halo going in here completely, that is not something you want to see from someone with a high ATAR. It's completely different from what we saw last game.
I just think, like, in terms of Team Capybara's comp, they're so reliant on their ultimates, they're so reliant on their signature abilities. And I mean, Porin just completely removed everything with that invulnerability. I mean, with that invulnerability, I said in that team fight, keep track of Ashe. Everything revolves around this arrow, and with him dodging that arrow, it just means the rest of the follow-up is used and burnt, and so they're just free to run Capybara down, and that's what happened, and that's going to keep happening if Porin is focused like he was. He's too big now to fail, and he can afford to just jump in like this. But there's the arrow, we just talked about it. Galio ult to stop the full engage. Halo is going to flash over and take out the kill on Porin.
Gosh.
Zalia solos Willy Wonka in the bottom of the river and will also take out Halo as well, but it'll cost him his life. Clown, 1v3 now. We're going to need really good kiting, but that Victor zoning is so potent, and it goes 3-2.
You guys cannot see, but I am literally, like, I am clenching. Take that how you want, but there is so much happening on both sides there. Halo again going in for that aggression and even though he was able to get something out of it, he was probably going to say #work. Let's actually end up going back into if we can, but they're just continuing the fight for J-Maya.
Continues, and what is the Super Asian doing? That Victor has been solidly scaling the whole game, and I mean, like, we really see they have to be aware of their own potential here. The moment that Porin gets away, to even capture Porin, they need to use so much. But the moment that they capture Porin, if he gets away, and he can with this Galio ult, you're out of gas. You've got nothing else. You have to jump out of that fight. But Halo flashing in, trying to continue that fight, is detrimental to the team comp.
And it doesn't even matter that Team Capybara have vision on the dragon, because
oh my god, Willy Wonka, please don't get soloed again, my dear friend. He's going to use all his abilities here, but look how big Porin is, can dodge. And now that Flame Spitter on cooldown doesn't cost anything from either side, but they will just get the third Dre completely for free.
Oh my gosh, my heart is racing about this, Halo. They heard us wanting to get into game 3. They remembered that there was so much at stake. The prize money, the mice, everything is here for their taking, and they are switching it up from the first game as well. And it is amazing to see, like, how much of a difference this is making for them as well. Porin on a champion that we know as soon as he gets ahead, he's just gonna snowball, and being able to take advantage of those aggression early, because unlike what he was doing before on Xin Zhao, when he was going in for these, like, aggression in jungle, he's able to dodge these abilities that they are so heavily reliant on. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, Seraphine ult as well. If it doesn't hit onto any one of the members of the team, it's not going to go any further than that. So it's so good to see that Porin is able to take advantage of the champion that he has and be able to snowball again and again and again, and being able to secure all of these dragons thus far.
Yeah, I mean, what it is, it's a reversal of the last game in terms of draft. In terms of draft, Next Gen's draft in that first game was really useless into Capybara's draft. But now, with this invulnerability and with the backup from the Galio engage and Shield of Durand, it just allows for these key abilities to be wasted. And your whole comp relies on them. And so if you're dodging them, but look at the sneaky Baron here, they still don't have vision. It's a full steal. They've just stolen that Baron right under the noses. Porin is going to use his dash, and he's in there. Here's the combo, though. Everything has just been used. Look at the tidal wave from Nami as Victor is in this fight. The Arcane Storm is down. Is it going to get resets? Equalizer used to zone them off there, and they're under the tower, and they will take that Baron safely. But we can just see the team fight. Like, they're at ends. If Porin doesn't mess up,
Let's
if
have a look
Porin
at that
doesn't
one
make
again.
mistakes, look at what you have to use. Seraphine, you have to use flashing away from Clown, and you've got the back line, but the front line's too big for Next Gen. And with these key abilities down, you just can't do anything. You just have this tiny bit of burst, and then you're gone. And look, Willy Wonka countered by that engage from Victor. Although a lot of damage from Halo that will find the kill. That's what you want. They could actually look to end the game now if they can catch out Porin. That is the key. With this Baron, this is their one chance. The longer in this game goes, once this Zhonya's... by the way, Jaber didn't use the Zhonya's there, but that's completely fine. The longer this game goes on, especially with this Death Dance on Porin now, you want to look to end here. Honestly, I'll call it right now. If Team Capybara does not end here, they will lose this game.
Yeah, Zayla
and they understand that absolutely completely. As they are going to look, the Super Asian, that Trundle. Here comes the Hound's Pursuit onto Willy Wonka, flashing out, but gonna find himself falling all the same. The Nexus turret's still up, and it's a trade for nothing. We get Yuchi in the fight now. A beautiful counter, little fake engage from Porin. Zayla want to look a little bit deeper, but that's not what you want. You did not end there, and I'm gonna call it. I really do think if this Baron, if they do not end with this Baron, the later in this game goes, now that Death Dance, Porin didn't take any damage there. He was on half health, even eating so many autos. It's looking worse and worse for Team Capybara.
Yeah, it's interesting to see as well because they knew it. That was the trigger for them, essentially. They can tell that Porin is being able to not necessarily outplay him, but being able to have so much proficiency on his champion, taking advantage of like all of the abilities being used on him because they're so heavily reliant on these ultimates, and they were able to sneak that through and try to push him away and grab this Baron. But of course, like you said earlier, they weren't able to push through entirely, so they really want to be able to utilize this Baron as much as possible to try to go for this win. But of course, It's only got so much time to be able to execute that plan because Dragon Soul is available, and we all know how objectives go, especially in OCE. This is where the game changes tend to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And the problem is a change won't happen unless Team Capybara adapts. They need to adapt and understand that the game plan of just shooting out their ultimates isn't going to work. They need to figure out a way to quickly change as Porin is going to pursue. There's the R, but you can't do anything. Those are two key abilities used. Clown is going to find himself falling to Porin, although here comes the encore. Porin is still alive. I repeat, Porin is still alive. I repeat. Porin is still alive. It is unbelievable. You cannot find a way to get in this game. This is the only angle you have. You have to split push. If Halo can capture Xaylia here and potentially even get this inhib, Jaber stepping up a little bit incorrectly. Willy Wonka wanting to try and catch him. It's not enough. Once again, Team Capybara's team fighting is completely gone. They're so countered by this comp. The most you can do is split push, but it's going to be Soul going over.
So much damage on him.
Not enough though, and that is going to be a Mountain Soul, which makes this comp. This game is spitting in the face.
The damage from Halo is ridiculous.
Halo is going to look for it. He understands that if he doesn't try something and end this game, that they don't stand a chance. But once again, here's the thing. Great. You do have an Ash Arrow. Great, you do have a Seraphine ult, but now you have to get through a Mountain Soul as well? Your comp's invalidated! It's completely gone, and Halo, I'm sorry to say, there's a dog sniffing at your feet. You're going to be completely gone as well. The tidal wave flashed over. Does that collect? Kenbo has the heal as Muchi gets killed by Porin. You're going to need to buffer that jump, but you can follow Porin, bark, and you're dead.
Oh, no, I could see the light in their eyes. The hope was there for them. But unfortunately, Porin has got that dog in him as he actually destroys their hopes and dreams from that engage. Of course, this is what you were talking about before. Let's run that through that again. So we have Clown. See, Porin goes in onto this and is absolutely able to like take so much damage as well. Look at this. So Galleon comes in for that ultimate, and Porin survives, and Cloud almost feels as though he's able to escape, but Jaber getting that last tail and the equalizer going down to be able to get so much damage on them as well. But absolutely nothing to coming out of from the side of Team Capybara. They go and push even further, but unfortunately it is just not going well for them. Here again, we can see Halo, he's doing so much damage on them too. He gets both of them, but with Porin being able to chase him afterwards, it's just insanity. They really can't afford to be doing those types of plays, especially because we want to be able to like utilize their pushing potential. Like Halo's been doing exceptionally well trying to get these towers, get these objectives for their team. But if he's down, where's their damage? Because he's the aggressor that's been keeping jumping in, trying to keep the rest of his team alive as team captain as well. And if he is down for the count, there's really not much that they're going to be able to do without him.
Well, I think what's happened here is Team Capybara has realized too late that they just hard lose team fights now. And that happened, that clicked in about 20 minutes ago, if I'm deadly honest. And the problem is, only now I think if they realize, wait, okay, the only way to win this game is if we split push or cheese or something occurs in this. But I don't think Porin's going to make a mistake now. And with this GA, they can just win any team fight they want. They really can, because all your key abilities are useless into Mountain Soul. Look at the zoning now. It's just a complete sort of, I hate to say out-drafting, but it's just like that first game. It's an out-drafting. They didn't capitalize early, and unless someone really messes up, this is next gen's game.
Oh, I'm actually loving what is happening at this point in time. The aggression that was actually his downfall for the first game is like huge for him this time around, especially a champion like Neferi. As he goes
here comes
for
the
engaging
aggression right under tower, the tidal wave equalizer combo countering each other. But look at how much damage Porin has, how much survivability. We can just get that tower completely free. But take a look topside. They're in a really bit of trouble. This was the only way they could make a mistake. Look, Halo is aware that if he split pushes, this is their way to win. They don't win team fights. You went a little bit deep, Porin, and Halo has free reign to take that top tower. Are you going to catch him as well? It's hard. You don't have the tidal wave now. We can just jump out. And now what do? You've ran after Halo. Baron is open. Zalia, it doesn't matter that Zalia is here because you can just buffer that R. You can run away. I really don't think they have any chance of catching
Are they
Halo
really going
here.
to be chasing Halo when they know that
real
Baron
mistake.
is up?
They're on Baron this whole time. Zalia did not hit the point and click stun, and it's a free Baron. It's a macro mistake from the side of next gen, which is what I was saying Capybara need.
This is not what you want to happen for the side of next gen. They've been so dominating consistently for I'd say like every single team fight that has happened. But Halo is being a cheeky little guy and it's like split pushing with the Baron buff, and as well with so much pushing potential as a Tristana mid as well, getting so much gold. Look at that. He is clearing jungle camps within seconds, milliseconds essentially. And it doesn't even matter that he's not in these fights either, because they know they don't win the team fights. But if they have somebody like a Tristana splitting in the opposing lanes to try to get towers for them, those objectives, it doesn't even matter if they don't lose the game, because nobody's going to be able to stop him from pushing on those side lanes.
Yeah, I mean, and this is why he's team captain. He understood that they weren't winning team fights. But
Porin
here's a
going
team
in.
fight. That is not where you want to be jumping in. The tidal wave's slightly missing there. It's going to be a free equalizer if Wonka wants it, but he's not choosing to do so.
That's
That
respect
could have been
right
big.
there.
As Porin stands so far forward, the GA is still up, and Wonka finds himself half hit. Here comes the equalizer. It's not going to do anything though. That enchanted arrow also completely missing. Yes, Porin is stunned, but he's unkillable. He has Merc Treads. Is that second dagger? That burn is just not gonna be enough.
But look at where the rest of the team
to end
is.
that whole time, but Halo's gonna find himself falling now as Clown is forced back to the fountain.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you got a TP, double TP happening in the top lane. Because while Team Capybara is down, this is where they're going to be able to push a lot of those objectives back. It's like, okay, Halo, you're more than welcome to try to split push, try to end, but we can just do the same thing back to you. And let me tell you now, it's going to be incredible for the side of them. They don't have anybody to try to defend at the moment. Who do they have? The Super Asian and Yuchi. No ultimates, and the rest of the team is just going to come by and assist them to push this win even more. Is this it? Is this how they end the game?
I really think so. I mean, I made the prediction that if they didn't end on that last Baron, they would lose this game, and that's certainly how this game is going. The Super Asian is just completely useless in a majority of these team fights. He's trying to chase this dog down, but is that really going to even do anything? Look how little damage this Trinity Force tank build he's got going on. Yes, he's an okay frontliner, but Porin can just run away however he wants. Take the blast cone as well, and that's Elder up.
Elder Dragon is up though. But he still has GA, which means that he has the potential to go in for this engage and be able to wait for the rest of the team.
Comes the Enchanted Arrow landing onto Kenbo here. If you can take out the Nami now, this is the time. The Equalizer combined with Seraphine Encore. It's a lot. The Super Asian is autoing this whole time and doing absolutely nothing. Porin still isn't dead.
He's still alive!
He's still not dead. The GA finally popped, but 4 members of Team Next Gen are here to jump on the Super Asian. The GA keeping him back alive. Porin's here and he's going to start the Elder.
Oh my gosh, and this is where they really need to be able to pull the trigger here. It is Elder Dragon. As soon as either one of these teams get it, this is the end of the game, 100%. We've still got Halo, who we know has been always consistently going in for these aggression.
Porin flash engage in. There's the Galio combo. We can catch out the Super Asian, but it's a little bit too early. Clown does trade with Porin. The Super Asian doing absolutely nothing. Negative damage and healing the enemy team.
But watch the pings on Halo. Look what Halo's doing.
Pushing up mid, they are going to retreat. They don't seem aware of him yet. There are no backs coming out. The back's coming out now. This is the angle. He's going to be able to get 2 inhibs here with this Tristana push here. Porin going a little bit too deep as Jaber finds himself slightly caught out. We're going to need to help him. The tidal wave coming out, but Jaber's massive at this point. The Super Asian doing absolutely nothing. In fact, he's going to find himself falling. Who cares about this fight, because is Halo ending as we speak? So much damage, but it's just not going to be enough. A beautiful flash into Zhonya's combo from the Galio. A lot of damage. It's Halo's game. The entire game is on Halo's back right now. He needs to figure out a way to end this game, but Jaber's up and he is out of mana. They can run this Yordle down. Zhonya's stunned. Bubble dead.
Oh my gosh, there was so much happening on both sides of the team. Halo was literally, as the team captain, he's like, guys, try to keep them there as long as possible. I can get so much from this. And look at what he was able to accomplish. The inhib is down. Like Nexus Towers, look at how much damage he's able to do as well. It doesn't seem like 2 people is enough for Halo. He does so much damage. He's got so much of these. He's full build. And now they're going to be able to see, now they're able to like, unfortunately for next gen, or for Team Capybara, they're going to have the priority for this Elder Dragon too. However, Willy Wonka is having a little bit of a geese. Will the rest of his team come by? But they're so worried about the potential of them being able to end.
The Equalizer. Not going to be stolen.
This is what... Yes, go. I feel like we're on the same...
It's just like...
Yep.
They need to understand that there's no hope of winning team fights. Capybara has no hope of winning team fights.
Yeah.
Your only angle is split pushing here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's pretty well aware, judging from how quick these backs are coming back, coming through. The next gen is so aware of that. So it's a little bit of a back and forth chess match on these inhibs, allowing a lot of time for Team Capybara. But time is not what they need. What they need is a full mistake, a macro mistake. Halo needs to be able to end in a wave. And if that's the only outcome for Team Capybara to win this game, if they forget about Halo or if they make a huge mechanical error. But I don't think they'll be making those errors, as they are so aware that that is the only win con for this comp.
Yeah, but the thing is that we were talking about how they're not going to be able to win any of these team fights, but as long as they are able to keep next gen like interested enough to try to like push for that win, then Halo can just do what he's been doing, and that's what he's been able to do successfully. Even if they're able to keep 3 members of the team, fighting with them, while Halo just, continues to push on the side lanes and try to push for that overall win, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to do it successfully as well. It's just a matter of, how patient they want to be. Because the longer they wait this out, the more likelihood that it's just going to go out, it's not going to go well for them.
Also, I think Porin's going to try his best to hunt him down. Look at that Elder burn. Half practically health from one Victor E. Taylor's forced to flash. He does have TP, but this Elder's running out of time. And if you're not starting Baron yet, you're not going to be able to sync those 2 buffs up. And the D push on the side of Team Capybara certainly isn't bad at all. So sieging them might be difficult.
Well, as soon as they realize which members are on Baron as well, Halo does actually have his TP available, so it's interesting to see what they're
now,
going to do.
they do know they're on this Baron. There's going to be an equalizer coming out from Willy Wonka if he's going to, although they might just give. It's very hard
Yeah,
with
they
this
can't
Elder.
stop
But that Elder, if we take a look, it's got a very small amount of time on it now. Can they de-push, and can Halo provide enough distraction? They certainly want to they do need to end. They want to end here. And look at how much is going to have to be given. It depends how quick. They've got the Baron empowered recall. Looks like they're going to take it now. Yes, they're absolutely going to take it. They cannot allow Halo. The Elder's going to be completely gone, although they cancelled the backs.
Okay.
And here comes the engage. Elder is gone. The tidal wave coming through. The flash from Willy Wonka. It's a beautiful disengage from the side of Team Capybara. Yes, you lose the Super Asian, but Halo is going to get that in here. You are going to have to chase them. It's up to Halo. Once again, the game is on his back. Porin dumping in. Is he going to be able to do the damage he needs to Willy Wonka? Willy Wonka getting that Seraphine stun. You do have the GA again. The TP coming in from Halo here. This is the chance of the game. Stella is going to be shredded here. Very little health on the side of Stella. Halo, a beautiful TP. It's back-to-back in terms of these teams here. They still want to push. They've got this Baron, and they're not giving up yet.
They shouldn't, honestly. Look at how much pressure they have. Halo is forced to TP back. But again, it just doesn't feel like this. Okay, Nietzsche going to go back. They need to be able to get those ultimates, but of course the ultimate, the only thing they have available is this enchanted crystal arrow. Will they actually go in and try to get this fight?
The flash, but buffered. The beautiful buffer from Halo. Here comes Porin. No GA, only this invulnerability. He is very low, and he's going to find himself falling to Clown. Zalia diving under the turret as well. That's another pickup for that Ashe, and the Super Asian pillar online. Jaber taking as many autos as possible, flashing away, but the Super Asian is gonna chomp that Herald. Only the fish left. Halo's here to take them out. We have super minions in the base, and that's the game going over to Team Capybara.
This has been such an amazing game as well. We saw the blood, sweat, and tears coming from Next Gen 2026 here. What are they gonna do? All the person that have left is Stella on this Galio, but they've got Halo on Tristana, and we've been seeing how much damage he's been doing on these objectives and taking them down all in his lonesome. And with the aggression too, I wouldn't be surprised if they just go, you know what? Let's just fight you under tower. It doesn't matter.
They needed to look to end there because the amount of pressure, it just gets messier and messier, these team fights with these super minions up, and Baron was going to end soon. They had run out of the Elder. What a game. What an absolute game. That was such a great game. Back and forth and back and forth. I mean, what did you think? What did you think?
Oh my gosh, you don't understand. Like, I have never just wished for somebody to win so badly because of the change in gameplay overall from Porin. Like, he was such a menace. He was doing so well compared to the previous game, the first one, where it seemed as though he was being dominated again and again from his mistakes. And seeing him be able to understand what he needs to do in order to win this game, there was so much going for him. And I'm just honestly destroyed. And I'm not even the person playing. So I mean, there's only so much that their team could be feeling right now. Hello.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought it was beautiful in terms of how Team Next Gen learned. Like, that's what it was. It was a learning experience. That first game was really rough. It was very difficult for them. But what they did was they adapted, they evolved. Porin went for more of these early dragons, stopping to Super Asians, stacking of dragons, and he made enough plays to get ahead and turn this beautiful team comp into an unstoppable wreck. But you have the reactions, the sort of 4D chess of Halo. He understood, okay, and I imagine this conversation happened in this team. We are not winning team fights. We have to play the macro game. We have to go for split pushing. You guys need to survive, and I will carry this game on my back. And every single inhib that he took was integral to buying enough pressure and enough time. I think we have to look at that Elder. That Elder was completely useless. It didn't even allow them to get Baron in the majority of half its time. It was running out when they started attacking that mid-tier 2. And I just think it was the pressure that Halo was putting on in the side lanes that allowed such a beautiful macro game to be played there and the turnaround to happen.
Yes, especially because, like, you could tell that Halo wanted to do exactly what he was doing. He was going for that split push. But as soon as he saw the pressure was on from the rest of his team, that TP was literally, that was it. That was it for them. The fact that they weren't able to like to be able to like pull the trigger and get that actually fight on, because we've been seeing Porn go for the aggression, those aggressive fights again and again and again. But it seems that particular one, as soon as they saw the threat of Halo coming back, they just pulled out. And that's not something you want to be able to do if you got so much tempo on your side as well. You need to go for that win, because this is where like the game changing happens. It's just a split second of decision making overall. And having somebody like Halo, he's going for these continuous pushes on the side lanes and seeing that his team needs his help, there was no hesitation. He went for that TP, he went in, and they pushed for that win. And it didn't even matter that they were losing all these fights over and over again, because like you said, the team captain knew exactly what he was doing. And that was the difference overall, the communication, the synergy. And even though you were talking so much about their drafting and the ultimates not being available for them, it didn't even matter in the end, because they had somebody like Halo carrying them on the other side of the map and being able to get the win.
Yeah, as we actually might be able to get a little bit of thought process as we have an interview with team captain of Next Gen 2026, Kenvo. Kenvo, I'm very excited. How are you feeling after that game?
I mean, my whole we're pretty happy how we went, to be honest. I think we have the youngest average team, we have teenagers, 20-year-olds on our team, so I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think you guys played absolutely amazingly. What did you think about that first game in terms of drafting? And in terms of that first exact game, what was the thought process? What was learned? What was the thought process going into the second game after the loss on the first one?
The first game, I think our comp, to be honest, was better than theirs. We just misplayed early game, didn't press our buttons, and lost the game. And then going into second game, we knew we could beat them. I think we had the better draft again, I think, as you guys said. We're probably one of the worst macro teams in the tournament. All we have is mechanics, but we're low-key chilling.
No, and those mechanics were so visible. I mean, one of my favorite moments was your Nami bubble onto Tristana. Halo was sitting in that bush, and you perfectly predicted the jump onto him. I mean, that was truly beautiful, and some beautiful tidal waves as well. In terms of what you could have done in that last game, let's say you could rewind the time, what would you have done differently? Would you have picked a different comp? Would you have played a little bit differently? What would you have done to secure the win for that?
I think what we have to do is we need to just go onto the Tristana instead of letting her split push. We should someone needs to go down there and kill her, and then we can stall out the Baron if they start, and we should be chilling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, and it's definitely it's a learning experience. This is the first tournament that we will actually be able to run, so there may be a potential to try again next year in the next coming season. So again, you guys played phenomenally. We never actually counted you out. You guys did so well. Hello was saying, your Nami bubbles, your engages were so good, and it was really good to see.
Thank you.
No, and thank you, Kenvo. I mean, this was. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you for putting on one of the best games of this entire tournament. So thank you, and we hope to see you next year in TOR.
Thank you. Can I say something before I leave?
Yes,
absolutely.
Hey, shout out to my team. Someone signed them to LCO for $0 next year, please. They're all young players.
And I'm sure they're listening right now and will be signed up immediately.
This is what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to allow players to have an opportunity to play in a little bit of a professional setting. This is what we're doing. This is what we're able to do with this tournament as well. So it's really good to see that people are going to join, have a go, and they can see how much experience they would have gained from it as well, working as a team and being able to play with ex-pro players or higher ranked players they probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to on their own.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with these games. We can just see so much potential in these players. I really hope that TOR goes a little bit of the way towards maybe convincing a new player or any player to convince them to keep playing this game, because there's so much passion, there's so much potential in these games. I mean, these games are neck and neck, and we are seeing just such beautiful outplays, beautiful macro, beautiful micro, and drafting. I mean, OS is alive. OS is alive in terms of how good these players are in the region. Absolutely. Absolutely,
We have resurrected.
absolutely.
This is exactly what we wanted. We wanted the region to feel like they hadn't been forgotten, and this is exactly what we've been able to achieve. So many players coming from different levels of gameplay, different levels of experience, and this whole tournament is being able to open so much more for these players because there's only so much you can like, deal with on the Rift on your own. Like especially with the higher tier players, you don't get to play with the team that you want because that's just how it is, unfortunately. But playing in a tournament like this, you get the experience, you get coaching, you get ideas, advice from all sorts of people that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to previously. And it's just really great to see how it comes together, the synergy. Like even the other players that unfortunately are no longer in here anymore, but they had the opportunity. There's tier 4 players on Kaiusi's team. Shout out to Team Sirens, but on Coke, like they had an opportunity that they would never have been able to experience for themselves. But it's just so much more reason for them to continue to want to play. And of course, like into the next year, into the next season, however, there's so much potential to perhaps maybe we can run something again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's like even just speaking to Kenvo there, you can tell that's a guy who really had a good time with these games, who really had a good time playing, and that's what OS needs is this kind of sort of combined community games. But something I'm very excited for, we will be able to speak to the winners, the team captain, Halo. How are you feeling, my dear friend?
I'm feeling pretty good, mate. It was an absolute banger. So happy to get the dub in the 10th game.
It really was, and I mean, a W did collect. May I say, in terms of your team, they played exceptionally well. But your macro calls there to take out those inhibs and focus that instead of team fights was unparalleled. What was your thinking coming into the second game after that first game where you really, I mean, the Super Asian and you worked hand in hand to secure that victory? What were you thinking going into that second game draft specifically?
Yeah, after game 1, I felt very confident. And even in game 2, we got a massive lead early. Just had a couple unlucky fights. But I mean, I think drafts game 1 went so well, and so many champs were pinched from them. And you could sort of see game 2 drafts it sort of made it work in a way, but it was very strange.
What was the turning point? Were you confident that you were going to win game 2? Was there any sort of doubt in your mind, like this isn't going the way, we're really far behind, some of these team fights aren't working? And was there a turning point where you're like, wait a minute, we got a chance here?
Well, at the start of game 2, I was pretty confident. Once they got, Elder Baron, I realized, okay, like I just have to make them panic. So I just had my little shop in the side lane, and I just sat off vision every time they wanted to go mid. I just threatened end, and it seemed like they didn't really know what to do. And yeah, it's kind of an OP strat, I guess.
It certainly was.
I feel like it's definitely something that, especially with like inexperienced players, end up having to face because once the top laner like ends up split pushing, like nobody knows, do they stay, do they go? Yeah, it's great to see that you're able to do that with your mid lane champion as well.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can, and pretty much you. Sorry, BLR, I think your mic,
okay.
There might be some issues with your mic, but yeah, you really did play really, really amazing. Halo, were you expecting those type of bans not getting the Azir through? And what was the Tristana thought, the thing process of Tristana?
Yeah, I expected Azir to be banned. It's funny because I hadn't played Azir in solo queue for like 6 months, but every game
I'm terrified of it.
Yeah, I mean, every game against Blynot, it was like, okay, I mean, this is a perfect Azir game. And then I realized, I'm actually kind of good at Azir. So I started playing it in solo queue before this match. And I was winning like every solo queue game. So I was like, okay, like they're not going to give me Azir. It's pretty much always going to be banned. And as for Trist, it was pretty simple. They just banned a bunch of AD mids and like they did good bans. Those are champs I would have played. And then Trist was just like next in the pecking order. I wanted Lily to be low AP.
Yeah, and just in terms of the rest of your team, if you had to say who performed the best in the team, who would you personally give a little bit of an MVP to?
Yeah, so I think game 1, the Super Asian played really well, bit of a jungle gap there. And then game 2, I mean, look, I don't want to do my own horn, but we would have definitely lost if I didn't side lane the way I did. So I'll give it to me for game 2. I actually am really happy with my team. I think I got kind of lucky in the draft. Everyone's really solid, and it's quite a lot of fun playing with these guys. So yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Well, no, thank you so much, and congratulations on your massive win. I mean, into getting into the finals, are you confident? Are you confident of sweeping the whole tournament? That's the real question.
I'm pretty confident. We had like sort of a rough entrance to the tournament. Like I couldn't play for 2 games, so we lost.
McKinnon.
We lost 1. Yeah. It's good that McKinnon could step in. And then even scrims were going kind of poorly, but I think now we've really figured out how to win. Drafting is quite easy now for us. and I really want to beat Derma's team specifically because I wanted to think is I was going to pick Derma from my team, and then Violet just took him, so that's kind of hilarious.
Stolen.
Yeah, so I want to beat Derma. Hopefully he wins.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But thank you so much, Halo, and congratulations on your win tonight.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Well, Viela, what a game. I mean, wow, 2 goated games, weren't they just?
Honestly, I love how humble Halo was when he was saying it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but like definitely, and he's absolutely right, completely justified. He played so well, and you could tell that he had the experience, and he knew that if he was able to give that pressure, then they were going to scramble, and that's exactly what happened. And it's so good to see that we were just on the edge of our seats, just trying to figure out what their plan was going to do, and they executed it so well. And that's what you want. You want a confident captain to be able to take you through to the next round. And like, what does this mean for Halo's team now?
So, well, of course, because of they've won this best of 1, they were going to the final losers bracket matchup with a chance to go to the grand finale, which of course the 21st, very important to understand. That's on the 21st, and that's going to be such a really fun day. But we do have games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, of course, leading up to that 21st on Sunday. I'll be watching personally. I mean, I
You'll be
really do
watching?
hope to
You'll
see
be
that
there?
matchup. That's the thing. That's the thing with this is Halo mentioned it. Derma getting stolen away, a baby in the night. And so that's the fun of TOR. I think that's the fun of TOR, and that little drafting that we did, it really was quite interactive and can create some interesting storylines there. I mean, there's a little bit of lore going on there, and I do hope to see them in the finale, truly.
It's so good. Love it.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for coming in, though. I mean, it's been some really good games, really fun games, and really entertaining. And of course, we will be back on Friday the 19th at the same time for the semifinals. I mean, this is the semifinals. It's crazy how quick TOR has come and gone. You can stay up to date, of course, bracket information and all the information you need at oceanicresurrection.com. Viela, thank you so much for casting with me
Thank
tonight.
you for
It's
having
been a
me. Hello.
pleasure.
It's been
I mean,
great.
these games, what do you think? What's your final thoughts on all of this?
Honestly, it's synergy. Never count them out, okay? Like, as soon as it feels like a losing game, guys, it is always possible to win. So don't give up. Don't spam that FF and just try to do your best, genuinely.
Absolutely. But that's all from us, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. We hope to see you here again Friday. Be here or be square. Big semifinals. But for us tonight, I hope everyone has a wonderful sleep, and we will see you on Friday. Good night, though.
Bye.